me and Ryan have been officially welcomed to the jungle that is Barstool Sports.
Our white whale, Sidney Crosby.
Shave his head! Shave his head! Shave his head!
Ryan Whitney, Paul Bissonette, R.A., Mike Grinelli, Spittin Chiclets.
What is up, folks? Holy shit, what a week. Oh my God. Sometimes the hockey gods just drop content on your lap, and they did this week. And we're here in Fort Lauderdale at La Casa de Yandel. Beautiful, beautiful spot. We've been here before. We've crushed 3 or 4 great interviews so far, but now it's time for episode 42, brought to you by Pink Whitney. We're ready to rip it because we got the Solar Bears game, the Orlando Solar Bears. Tuesday night, it's Pink Whitney night. They got the Pink Whitney jerseys. They got the Pink Whitney socks. They're 1-1 in their prior 2 Pink Whitney games. We got to get that record back above 500. We're going to be there meeting fans before 6:30, I believe, at the arena. We'll be around the rink all game long, and let's go Solar Bears, Pink Whitney night. Go buy your bottle, go buy your little nip, go down to the bar, order a Pink Whitney. We love you all. Thanks for the support. And guys, what the hell is going on with you two? How you guys doing? One guy isn't doing so good.
And it's not me.
It's the friggin' L5S1.
No, she's barking, boys.
Buddy.
S1 in it.
I'm in pain.
So we're just chatting here prior, guys. At Biz, like, this is actually, he's moving around like a 79-year-old man who's had 45 different surgeries on his knees and his hips and his back.
Yep.
And I feel horrible. As Keith said, back pain's the worst, but I think you're working out close to like 12 to 15 times a week at this point. I think you said you said you were doing double sessions.
No, I did a double yesterday beside the main street in Fort Lauderdale, in which G recorded. And then, what do you mean?
Oh, I almost retweeted Hardo.
No.
Shirt off on the sidewalk.
And he sent out a tweet that he was like, I'm going to be working out if anyone wants to come watch me. But we interviewed.
That is not fucking true. Hey, so it was kind of an overcast day, and all of a sudden the sun opened up and there was a couple closed stores. So there was a strip where there was going to be no cars and I was getting direct sunlight. So I'm like, well, I only got 45 minutes here before we get going with all these interviews that we ended up banking. So I figured, why not just use that strip? I didn't know where else to go. I don't know my surroundings.
The gym that we liked?
The gym.
Well, I was in the gym, yeah, but I want to get some sun when I'm down here. I want to get that vitamin D.
The beach was right behind where you were standing, too.
So I asked if there was a boardwalk or like a walk thing, and somebody said that there wasn't. And I was just like, okay, I might as well just stay here. So I guess, I'm being a hardo, but I just care about getting my workout in, and here I am lying down because my L5S1 is gone again.
And what did you say when I just asked you, do you think that like how much you work out? Because for somebody who works out the way you do, looks the way you do, doesn't drink, only eats healthy, always gets his sleep, like you're injured a lot.
Yeah, I'm a Band-Aid.
And what do you think that is like, what is it because of?
I mean, there's probably a lot of physio people or doctors listening that'll it'll be DMing me about what it could be. I think maybe because I had the one knee surgically repaired, and I think that one of them is a little bit longer than the other. Not sure which one exactly. You know, when you go into the physio.
I have that as well.
Yeah. And I think that just maybe throws off my back and hips a little bit. And then, of course, tightness. I'm just a tense, stressed out guy a lot. I can't explain why I have so much stress in my life. I actually listened to a podcast, forget the lady's name recently, on just like how to naturally like not be so stressed out all the time. But she said that like 85 to 90% of like adults now just like have an immense amount of stress in their life. So I think maybe try to incorporate more yoga, more mobility stuff as opposed to lifting and
movement.
Yeah, movement. You know, you want to look like you got the muscles, but I think for now it's just more about efficiency. The one, I know we're going long-winded on this. The reason it really sucks though is what we got going the next 2 days, and I hope maybe with some muscle relaxers and some other meds, maybe a little bit of dope in there too.
It could be time to hop on the booze train because that'll loosen you right up. I'm not saying that like you need to do that, but a couple stiffies could end up making you feel a little looser.
Yeah, and the reason why it sucks is because we're going to be going against the Bob Does guys in some golf matches here. One of it's going to be for our YouTube channel, and then one of the matches on Tuesday will be for theirs. So hopefully I'm off the IR, and worst case Ontario, I'll just chip and putt.
And just talk relentless amounts of shit too.
Yes.
Like you could be that guy like in their face, just waddling over to them.
They can't handle it. Me and Biz played Joey the other day, and they can't handle it.
Joey Colcuts, oh my, he had a tough round. He brought a buddy who was a 5 handicap who had an even tougher round. I golfed the Grove.
He had 5 different handicaps.
Yeah, exactly. We golfed the Grove. I did for the first time.
What'd you think?
I think that MJ legit designed that course for me.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
did?
He
You didn't
texted
see it in
me.
the memo?
Yeah,
Oh.
it's for Biz. Yeah.
Oh.
There's even masseuses there, I believe, for when you hurt your L5S1. And
shit.
Keith texted me, I think when you guys were on 8 or 9, he's like, dude, Biz is like 4 over par right now. He's putting from 30 yards short of the green to 2 feet.
Yeah, I was hitting decent drives. My second shot would always be short, but you could Texas wedge everything from about 20, 30
That's your
yards out.
style.
You're a link style golf guy.
I'm a link style golfer, so I would expect that MJ is going to slide over a free membership at some point, given my performance. And on top of that, we bumped into my boy Rory McIlroy. I actually met him at the match when we did it at was it the park? Is that the name of the place?
Yes.
And he actually recognized me, so I felt like a badass.
Did he?
Oh yeah.
He's like, what up, Biz?
Yeah, he goes, listen, I know they're my countrymen, but fuck the Irish Travelers. He stood up for me.
Yeah, he did.
Actually.
And you know what else? Whit would love to hear too. He said last year, the playoffs, he got super into hockey, loving it, watching all the games. And guess who his team is, Whitty?
Say the Oilers.
The Oilers.
guy
He
loves
The
McJesus.
Oilers.
Loves them. Look at Whitty's face. I wish you guys could see it listening.
God, I want him to get the Masters. Now he needs to get the, because if he gets the Masters, you know that means the Oilers are winning the Stanley Cup.
My.
Well, the best part about it too is the fact that you that morning sent the tweet that Bob Does. Ended up sending out at the
very
fact
funny.
that he bumped into Rory McIlroy at a
Yeah,
gas
I know.
station.
That's crazy. And it was so funny the way that he like realized how much he fucked up.
Oh.
I think he said,
We've all been there before.
Oh, of course, but like he's like, thanks for all you do for YouTube. And then Bob's describing, he's like, what the fuck am I talking about?
Is that why there's a big argument going on online right now about YouTube golfers and the pros right now? Did that spark it?
I think it's mainly about how boring the PGA Tour is to watch right now and the pace of play. We talked about it
I
last
asked
week.
this. I said, who's the new John Daly? And like nobody had an answer. There's no guy who's a beauty who like maybe from time to time rips a few Villilinos and shows up a little bit late after going and playing guilty. Why are you laughing?
I think these
I
guys
think it's like every sport. We say it in hockey all the time too. The games.
yeah. Oh yeah. There's not a few guys still left in the league that are like John Daly. Oh yeah,
they're
right.
definitely-
yeah, but the fact you're on a team, so you can rely on your teammates.
Yeah.
Golfers are just like in their own world, just trying to figure out how to hit a fade and a draw and make a 7-footer and not puke all over themselves when they're in contention.
So I know we're kind of going all over the place. Can you explain to people who maybe haven't seen the Bob Does clip about how he describes bumping into Rory?
He basically said that and the best part about this guy is his voice.
Yeah, he's a
it's
funny
how
bastard. Delivery.
He's always like catching his dad. He caught his dad stealing chicken fingers from like the Whole Foods buffet. He videos his dad playing like the Jupiter Jackals men's softball over 60 league.
Yeah.
Like he's just, the way he's saying things is the funniest part. And I guess he's like, hey Rory, like I don't remember the clip off the top of my head, but it was like, hey Rory, and then he's like, you heard of Bob Does or something like that. Like that might make him sound like a
I
douchebag.
think
But
he said, great job in the video with Grant. Grant Horvat's another YouTube guy.
Yes.
And he's like, I do Bob Does Sports. And he was like, have you heard of us? And he's like, no. I would have rolled up my window and drove with the gas tanks.
No, yeah, I would have poured the gas all over myself and like, do you have a lighter?
Hey, don't make me laugh. Ow, 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 L5.
And then like on the way out, I think he meant to say thanks for all you do for golf. He's like, thanks for all you do for YouTube. And
Unbelievable.
I think he said Rory was like, what the
Well, the way
fuck?
things are going, he better transfer over to YouTube the way you guys were talking about the PGA and how it's not even going to be a thing if these...
No, it's going to be a thing.
These
I think
nerds
the
keep
Donald's going to get them back together with Liv at some point. I don't
Oh,
know.
nice.
But we have way bigger news, guys. We have way bigger news in the world of hockey. And I know
What, the fact that I went and visited Scotty Gomez with the Surrey Eagles?
great video.
Oh, thank you.
That was awesome.
Did you have fun watching that?
That was a great video to watch. I really enjoyed it.
Where'd you watch it?
I watched it on YouTube, where I believe we have 375,000 followers.
74. We're getting close.
Oh, I'm going to round up here. I'm going to round up a little bit. But that was awesome. And just to see how into it him and Mott's are and how much they care about helping these kids, getting them ready to play at the next level, getting them.
It was awesome.
It was just, it's awesome to see those guys. And I mean, neither one of those guys have to do that, right? They wanted to get in coaching. They're starting in a lower league, like not to say it's a low league, but it's a long way from the NHL. And I don't know if they both dream of doing that, but just to give back to the game that way and do that, it was a cool thing for you to go out and do. I loved it.
It was a great experience. These kids are getting so much knowledge from Gomer and Motts and the rest of this coaching staff. He was breaking down video much like Adam Oates does, right? Because he's good close buddies with him. So same type of formula. So if you guys want to check that out, it's the third rendition of Road Warriors, where the first one I went and hung out with Sean Avery for an afternoon. That was very interesting, obviously. Then we had the Newfoundland extravaganza. That was the second one when I went and saw TR. And then, of course, this is the third one with the Surrey Eagles. So check it out, Spittin Chiclets YouTube channel, Road Warriors. Boys, I know we're going to get to Rantanen and you guys are itching to get there. I got another bone to pick. Very un-American move by that ice cream shop that we went to last time we were in Florida.
No, it's a smart move.
It's a great move.
They're going to save, with people like you, millions a year.
Yeah.
In ice cream. And the fact that somebody sent me this tweet for What Business Talking About, we sat on this couch and we had to bring up.
I got shamed. I got sample shamed.
It was an intervention. It was like the show on A&E, like, hey, and you come in thinking we're going to have some ice cream, and then you're like, hey, Biz, why don't you take
I'm the Bonnie Blue of samples.
It was...
Just a cum dumpster of samples.
just grabbing the bottom of the barrel, the last scoop, taking a sample for yourself. But somebody sent me a tweet. Oh no, it wasn't somebody. It was Martin Brodeur's son.
No, Marty Brodeur. Does that mean we're getting him on the pod?
I don't think so. But he wrote me a DM on Instagram. And he's like, dude, look. I was like, what? He's like, this is Sloan's in Delray, where Biz ate them out of house and home that time, trying 50 different samples. Sure as shit, they got a new sign, 2 samples per customer. And I actually have under like good word that they tried to do 1, and then like one of the owners is like, no, let's go to 2. I like Biz after the Travelers beat him up. Like, we'll do 2. But they were going to go just 1 sample. And then there were some people on the staff that wanted to go no samples. One of them was there the night you were there and was so disgusted they almost quit their job, saying, I don't want to ever run into somebody like that again. So they've put their foot down and realized, I'm done dealing with Paul L5S1 Nets.
All right. Well, I've lost the battle, but not the war.
There were some people on your side.
Since we did bring up Bonnie Blue before we get to Rantanen, I guess her and this other speed bag are battling online because
Lily Phillips,
this other speed bag who went 100 dudes.
Why are we talking?
I don't know. Biz actually like can't stop talking about it. I was like, hey, what are you getting? What fish? What are you getting last night at dinner? He's like, but how about Bonnie and Lily? I'm like, dude, the waiter's right there. He's like, what do you think? Would you hop in late? The guy's like, what is this guy talking about right now?
All right, we're done with the Bonnie Blue then. We'll put her in the rafters.
2 pieces
I
of
will
trash.
Remember you. Mascara dripping.
I think the muscle relaxers hit.
Oh man. We
guys,
got to get to this fucking trade though, boys.
You know who?
I thought the big one was coming. I'm not gonna lie. I know we're gonna talk about Ron and Age. I thought
if he says
when I heard a 3-way,
say this Sid deal again.
Wait,
I tweeted out. I always thought you were in on the joke, but I actually truly believe you think Sid's gonna get traded.
I do.
100%.
Yeah, like he's not. Like he's not.
I think that
he's not.
He's not
N-O-T.
Just like there's only 2 samples at Sloan's. It's a hard rule. He's not getting traded. Only
you
2
can't
samples.
keep bringing it up, Biz.
I think
never gonna play for another.
I think that this
exist.
was a move to make a bigger move. I'm gonna stick with that.
Kadri.
But I will say I started shaking because I read originally that it was a 3-way move, and when Rantanen was on the move, it's like, well, what would Rantanen fetch? And then that's why my mind went to Sid. So for all the people in Pittsburgh that I riled up again, my apologies. But like, at a certain point, Wayne Gretzky was traded. Sidney Crosby will have to move on to play with his buddy, Nathan McKinnon.
So I said, I had tweeted out like right away, like announce Crosby to the Avs, capital letters, exclamation points. That's why I just said it like that. And then I saw you keep going and I was like, all right. Once I started these tweets, started seeing tweets like the Chiclets guys are talking about it. I was like, okay, I think people aren't realizing we're joking. And then I was like, oh, they don't realize we're joking because Biz is relentlessly discussing Crosby to the Avs for years now. And you thought it was the moment.
I think that sports is allowed to be somewhat fantasy for some people. Like I treat it as fantasy, and that is one of my fantasies.
Is Crosby
not like that, not like a Bonnie Blue type fantasy. I'm talking about like when you read a fiction novel, like that type of thing. Like to me, that is something that would excite me. So I enjoy talking about it. I can believe in it. I'm allowed to talk about it. I don't mind that you send me hate online if I do talk about it, and the wheel just keeps turning. So let's now break down the actual trade that did involve Sidney Crosby, but a top 5 player in the league probably over the last 5 years. The tweet came out from, I think it was Sportsnet Stats, where it's over the last 5 years, I believe McDavid, Draisaitl, Nathan McKinnon, and Rantanen in points. Like these have been the 2 best dynamic duos who have carried the NHL over the past half of a decade. And I was jaw dropped at the fact that they didn't try to work something out. They didn't consult Nathan McKinnon. Bednar was shocked. Every single player in the Colorado Avalanche locker room was shocked. We talked about it last podcast. They have to consult Nathan McKinnon because the big thing here is, well, you can't make more than what is now, I believe, the best player in the world. Some people will say McDavid. I believe over the last 18 months, the dog has taken that title.
The Conn Smythe that doesn't have anything to do with the last 18 months.
Okay, that is fair, but I think that most people from a full body of work would say that at least they're neck and neck.
At least.
Let's say neck and neck. And the fact that they didn't consult him is mind-boggling to me because I don't think that Nathan McKinnon would have had an issue with his winger making a little bit more than him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder that too. Who knows if we'll ever get the answer, but to set up the full trade, the Avs sent Mikko Rantanen to the Carolina Hurricanes in a blockbuster 3-way deal. They're receiving forwards Martin Necas and Jack Drury, plus a 2025 second-round pick and a 2026 fourth-rounder from the Hurricanes. Carolina is also getting Taylor Hall and the rights to prospect Niels Jerntarp, a 2022 sixth-round pick from Chicago in the deal, and the Blackhawks, the big winners in this trade.
Yeah.
They're retaining 50% of Rantanen's $9.25 million cap hit and getting a 2025 third.
I got my
rounder.
hand up right now. Do you guys mind if I ask a question?
No, go ahead, Biz.
Could Taylor Hall just not have fetched a 3rd round pick?
That's what everyone was kind of saying. That's why, like, what maybe Chicago's like has something else in mind, but I saw that and I was like, I think he could have got like a second on his own.
So I am just very bizarre. I'm just like perplexed as to what Chicago's place in this trade was. Obviously retaining half that salary, but craziness to me. Do you want to go back to Rantanen and the fact?
Yeah.
How
I
does
want
that like how do you call a team and be like, hey, do you mind paying half this guy's salary? He's not going to play for your team, but do you mind paying half his salary?
That's what the capologists do.
How do they figure
Yeah,
that? Like,
you would
I
think-
do not understand how
No
that
idea.
stuff gets.
You'd be thinking, like, well, what are we getting? Are you getting a third rounder?
You're getting rid of Taylor Hall. That's
You're getting
it.
a third rounder. I just want to, I don't mean to make this all about the Oilers, but without Leon Draisaitl, this doesn't happen. This doesn't happen because Leon signed that ticket and we're set. McDavid will sign a bigger ticket, but we don't have a Cale Makar that we need to sign, so we can make it work. And without Leon signing this deal, Mikko Rantanen's possibly, maybe probably still a Colorado Avalanche, but now he's out of the conference. We don't have to worry about him. He's out east, and now the Oilers just churning and just working. All right, I'll move on off the Oilers. But that contract was a big deal.
No, for sure it is. But you brought it up this before we even started recording. Like Draisaitl plays center. Like Rantanen probably with where the cap's going thought he deserved around that number. But if you're not playing center and he's not being carried by McKinnon, they both bring a lot to that line. But you have to imagine those numbers are inflated based on playing with him. So.
Big time.
I was shocked that they couldn't land somewhere in that 12 million range, and I don't understand why they didn't wait a little bit longer, why they didn't consult Nate, and they just kind of moved on. And maybe Rantanen overplayed his hand, because I definitely don't see Carolina paying him what he thought he might have gotten from Colorado. So now you got a situation where Carolina last year, they trade for Gensel, they don't re-sign him, and now they move on from a couple big pieces, including Necas, who has a very team-friendly deal for 6.5 this year, next year, for a rental. Like didn't you say that they specifically don't like signing guys long-term to these big deals?
Well, that's the way it seems anyways too, right? Like
I think this one they're going for it.
I don't know. I could see it same as Gensel last year. If not bringing them back, like kind of see how it goes. If they don't, maybe if they win, if Carolina goes out and wins, maybe they sign him long term. But I have a feeling if they don't win at all, I think he's gonna, and I actually think he might go back to the Abs.
I was saying this.
How about your case?
I mean, if you're gonna have a guy, let's say playoffs didn't go that positive for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and maybe you get a similar type performance out of Marner that you saw last year, where we can get into the age-old argument, like he wasn't like a liability per se, but he definitely wasn't regular season Mitch. And so if they were to move on from Mitch Marner and not re-sign him, I would definitely go after Rantanen, and I would overpay him to do so, because then you have a big body like Nyes, who is going to be a stud player. I'm assuming Tavares is going to come back on a team-friendly deal, so he's off the books. He's a big player. You have Nylander. He's a big, fast, dynamic player. Matthews, big, fast, dynamic player. And then all of a sudden you have Rantanen. Like, that is built like a true playoff team. And nothing against Marner, and maybe he will end up signing, but I would imagine at the pace that he's playing this year, he's going to be asking for the same money that Matthews made. Well, that could fetch you Rantanen, and if things don't go as positively, like I said, that should be somebody that they try and land.
You said you would, no matter what, rather them sign Rantanen than Marner last night.
Yeah, I think that things still have to play out to see what happens this year in playoffs. It seems like Mitch Marner is on a mission. The good news is that they are going to get the luxury of getting to see that play out. But like I said, if it's a less than stellar performance, I would not hand over that money. And especially based on things that have kind of circulated, where there has been moves where they've tried to get rid of Mitch Marner to get more in return, like, free up cap space, maybe bring in 2 impactful players at the number that he's making. I would definitely entertain the thought of trying to bring in Rantanen. I would do everything and I could to bring him in if things don't work out with Mitch Marner.
Yeah, I think there's 32 teams that would love to have him, right? Like, he's one of those guys. If he's a UFA this summer, every single team's going to want him.
Correct, but if the money is the big issue, it narrows down the teams who are going to be willing to front load and really give him that extra money,
or backload it like Frankie B.
Or backload.
My question is, because we've kind of skipped past it, is Chris McFarland. You said Bednard was kind of surprised.
I just saw the quotes after the Bruins game. It was kind of, what did you say, G? Jarring almost.
Yeah.
Like, they were like sad. They were like, it was like, if you're Necas, you're like, geez. And I get it. The guy won a Stanley Cup, 10-year Colorado Avalanche. Like, it is shocking, but it was like, it was not like we expected this. It was more or less like, what the fuck just happened?
I never thought in a million years he would leave. So yeah, it sucks, was his quotes.
Yeah,
Who
and
said that, Nate or
McKinnon said he called him. They talked for 20 minutes, and it was just like, he just really looked, and I get it. Like, you just lost your guy. I mean, this is a 50-goal, 105, 110-point player that you lose. My thing is, for Avs fans, I'll totally buy, like, if there is any anger towards him, I get that. Because if he wanted to, he was still a Colorado Avalanche. He chose that he wants, like, Elliott reported that they went up to 11.75 a year. That's the highest paid winger in the game, beating Panarin. You're not a center. You're not Leon Draisaitl. They're different. Like, I don't think Rantanen's the same level player. I think that it's Matthews, McKinnon, Connor, Draisaitl personally, and Rantanen's right beneath them. But if you really wanted to be a member of the Avs, you're probably signing that deal, and maybe you get him up to 12. And you mentioned the same deal as Nate. I get that, but Avs fans, you got to realize, like, he chose not to sign there. Like, he chose, I want more. He has the same agent as Leon, So I'm sure he's being told like, you're going to get 13. Right. And he chose like, all right, I want that extra dough. And I respect the hell out of him. He's UFA. I think Bednar McFarland said like, he's a superstar, but he's earned his right to be a unrestricted free agent. But if you're looking at it, like if he really, really wanted to stay, he was staying. And you could say the same for Leon, that he could have taken a little less, but he was in a position where Edmonton was going to give him whatever he wanted. It's just nuts to me.
I guess I'm just shocked because they've already won a Stanley Cup. You can keep this going. You have two generational players that you're playing with, and like by the time it's all said and done, what everyone ends up probably getting, you're talking probably about $10 million max. Maybe even less after taxes. So to not want to continue,
maybe it could be like 15 to 16, but still.
Okay.
Because if he gets 14 or 13.8 and they're off an 11.75 over 8 years.
Yeah, but I truly believe that if his camp would have said match Nate, they probably would have went to Nate, got the okay, which I'm still shocked that they didn't go and do him to begin with, and they'd be paid the same. And then, like I said, after taxes, you're probably looking at between 5 and 10 max. Like, is that really worth risking the fact that you might not end up in a situation that you were just in?
But like, we've talked before, maybe it's that he already has the cup. Oh, remember we said that? I don't remember who we were talking about. Like, you got your cup, like go get paid. I agree with you.
I mean, I don't think you can put a price, especially that low of a difference on winning and being in a comfortable situation where you know that your line mate is going to come in the best shape of his life every year over year. And then going back to that stat that I mentioned, that you're going to be the top 5-point guys in the league. Like, it's like when you have $120 million in the bank, is it really that different when you have 125 or 130? I think it's crazy. And I also think it's a risk. And now he's not playing with somebody of Nate's caliber. So what ends up happening if he ends up not even getting what he expected to get in free agency? Like, who is prepared to give a winger of his status $13.5 million? Do you think anybody's actually prepared to do that?
13, I think, is high, but
I don't want to pay a winger that.
No.
Now, like, this did come down to they're going to have to pay Makar, and Makar should get 14 a year.
Correct.
Maybe
Playing half the
honestly,
game.
maybe he's got 2 more years after this one, Makar.
He's up in 26, 27.
So, like, he actually might get more than that based on where the cap's going, and he's that good that I'm like, no problem, give him that. So that's like part of it. Another aspect, maybe this means Landeskog's close to coming back. Obviously, there's just so much unknown with that. Like, how will everything respond? Will he be the player he once was? But at least that might mean that. But this quote right here from Nate is, I was trying to go to bed a lot earlier than I ended up Friday night. You're just kind of wound up. Your adrenaline's going. You're upset. You're shocked. It's a lot of different emotions. Like, that is like, oh my God. Like, yeah, they didn't go to him beforehand. They didn't go to him beforehand, which that's a GM's right, in Chris McFarland, and I think Joe Sakic's president there, right? But yeah, it shocked the hockey world. And then first you heard it was Necas and Cockton and Niemi, but then you find out it's Jack Drury, who's come a long way. That kid keeps getting better year in, year out. And McFarland said, like, it was evident to me we are not a deep enough team. So you grab 2 forwards instead of 1, but now you wonder, like, Rantanen and McKinnon had this incredible chemistry, and it's pretty well known that Nate's a demanding player and expects a lot out of people. And I think him and Rantanen, I'm sure that over the years they had some battles on the bench and maybe in practice, but they figured out a way to become champions together and figured out. And now Necas goes in there like, He's faster than Rantanen. He's not as big and strong. Like that's just a new thing that the Avs are going to have to figure out, is them 2 guys finding chemistry if they do stay on the same line. So I don't know how this is going to play out. I would think Carolina's nuts to make this deal without being like, we're at least going to throw the kitchen sink at them. Yeah. But you said it. We thought that with Gensel last year.
Did it come out? Did they even offer Gensel? Was it in the mix of him even signing?
I think they offered him, but not what Tampa was willing to pay. But gee, can you look that up quick? Because I don't remember for sure.
Can we quickly go back though to the, if you're on that team, are you shocked that they didn't at least consult Nate? Like, why would you want that locker room, especially him, like perplexed and caught off guard, and all of a sudden like he's losing sleep over it? And I'm sure he will be for the next couple of weeks trying to make sense of all this.
Yeah, I think like Whit said, McFarland has that right as the GM and as the president to not, go to the players, go to the coach. It's what he's there for. But I just think the way the league is now, you got to consult your superstars,
No shit.
your guys. Even Makar, go to him. Like, guys, is this someone we want to have around? Obviously, they want to have him around. Like, how much?
but devil's advocate, say he goes to Nate, and Nate's like, give him 13 and a half. It's like, all right, like,
Well, no,
what
but
is
it would-
my position here now?
No, it would be more of a conversation where it would be.
Yeah, not even money talk. You wouldn't even talk.
But that's what it was money.
Yeah, I would probably ask him like we're thinking the max we're going to go is matching what you end up getting paid, which I'm sure Nate would have had no problem with, and just kind of running it by him. Like I feel that there's probably a handful of players in the league that have earned that right based on what they've accomplished, and Nathan MacKinnon is one of those guys. If you polled all the other GMs in the league and the front offices, how many do you think would say, oh yeah, I'd definitely be consulting that guy? Like, would they consult Sid on a move like that? If they're ready to move on from Evgeny Malkin, do you think Sid's getting called in the room?
I would think so, but we were I thought the same with Nate and Rantanen. So yeah,
I think you can't judge this, and to kind of have McFarland's back a little bit is till the end of the year, because if they go out and win it this year, then he's laughing at everyone. He's like,
Correct.
but if they have a stinker the next couple months and struggle in playoffs and they're missing that big body winger, my biggest thing for them is the power play. Like you guys all know how a power play runs. Like when it's clicking like that, and those guys, they know where each other is, especially in playoffs. You need your power play to be good. So I think you can't really judge this till the season's over, till the Avalanche are either hoisting the cup or golfing in Cabo.
also
So I would say what's even crazier about this, Whit, before you go, is that we actually interviewed Necas, and he's going to be on this podcast, and he was a member of the Carolina Hurricanes.
we're talking about all his teammates.
And
Like, I hate them all.
yeah. And he was excelling this year, right? At one point, he was leading the league in scoring, and maybe in years prior, it felt like maybe Rob Brindamore, he didn't have his full trust, maybe, and didn't know what his ceiling was, and all of a sudden, he was starting to show it, and then they move off of him. Were you guys surprised that they were so eager to move off of Necas? Like, what do you make of all that? Especially at the fact that they seem to be a team that likes these team-friendly deals. Well, he's making 6.5 this year and next year, and all of a sudden they're taking that risk that maybe Rantanen might not come back.
I think when a team calls you with a guy of Rantanen's caliber, you're probably willing to give up.
You got to give up something.
I'd say besides Aho, is there anyone? I bet it was like, all right, take your pick. Can't touch Aho. Anyone else?
Maybe Slavin, just like D-wise.
Yeah.
But like now the question that I'm interested to see the answer to is Rantanen's production. And an incredible player. Like I think he's a truly like elite level talent, but he's had the dog.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're going, and Aho's a phenomenal player. He's not Nathan MacKinnon, but like, do you see the same numbers? Now, Rantanen's first game, granted, he flies to Long Island to that dump. We'll get into that storyline in a little bit, but he didn't have a point, but he had 5 shots on net. I think he played close to 22 minutes, right around there, I believe. And I just don't know if he's going to be able to produce points like he did. And I guess him and Sebastian Aho became good friends back in Finland, and then have played World Championships, World Juniors, I believe. And then now they're kind of reunited. Bieksa on Hockey Night in Canada said it makes sense too that they did it now based on like, all right, well, they get a little chemistry to go, and then they get to play together at Four Nations. So it's like for our stretch run at the end of February, March, and April, they'll really have known each other, which Vancouver's always done. Yeah. And we'll get into them. They've made trades early to get more in sync throughout the year instead of just throwing them in with 18 games to go after the deadline or whatever it is. So, but like, I don't picture him being a 105-point guy without MacKinnon. Is that a knock on him, or is that just how good Nate is?
I think it has a little bit to do with how both teams play too, and how demanding Rob Brindamore is. So I think if he's an 85, 90-point guy, and maybe and not to say he was never engaged defensively, I just think that you have to play man on man. There's things that you have to get accustomed to in Carolina. So we'll see how all that works. But I am just, I was just perplexed by this trade, and go ahead, yes.
You know what it's going to do, though, too, for more fireworks for you? The East is going to be I think all those teams that are in it are going to be trying to make some home run deals here. Like you see Carolina go out, get that. Like you're the Rangers, you're Florida, you have to go out and kind of somewhat.
Toronto's looking to add.
Yeah, Toronto.
Nothing like of salary like that. They would need, if they get a big salary guy, there need to be a lot of retention. Call Chicago.
I think coming into this
they'll take your
season,
money.
You specifically said it. I agreed with you. Is we thought that after the Gensel move and the fact that he was moving on, is that they'd regressed a little bit based on personnel. Would you put this Carolina Hurricanes roster now ahead of last year's? And do you believe that they're a top 3 team in the East now?
Yeah, I do. Like to me, I look at I look at Carolina and I look at Washington, and this Washington season, it's awesome to see.
Yeah.
But like, I think Carolina would beat them in a 7-game series.
I agree with you.
Like, and maybe I didn't before this deal. The Necas things too, like we interviewed him, and I don't know if it was right at the time, but it was definitely a point where he was lighting it up like crazy. And then there was a pretty like deep dive a little bit in his numbers. Like his production really like changed over the course of 25 games, I believe. Maybe if it had continued at the level it was, like they're not willing to move on,
right?
But they saw like, oh, is this more who he is? Still an unreal player, but more an 80-point guy as opposed to like a possible 100-point guy like the first 25 games. Maybe that was something, seeing him slow down a little bit. But like he said, I agree. Like once it's Ronton and it's like, all right, game on.
Yeah.
Like Carolina, their biggest issue, and especially the last few years, they've always been the team you talk about. No one want to play them in the playoffs. It's just goaltending for them.
I know.
It's, Freddie Anderson's only played 6 games this year. So it's one of those things. If you get the goaltending when you can, and you're adding a guy like Rantanen, you could be an issue in the playoffs.
Yeah, I looked at before this deal. I looked at like, wow, Jersey, Carolina in the first round will be unreal, and like almost leaning towards the Devils. And now with the size of Rantanen and kind of a lack of size in New Jersey a little bit, I'm like, fuck, I think Carolina would beat them. The East is going to be awesome. The East is just so open. It's crazy. Like forget the wild card. I'm talking like the top 6 teams, the top 3 from each division. Like who's coming out of this thing?
Yeah.
But I think with that, we can send it over to Necas. Then we can get into all the news that came out of Vancouver before or after the Rantanen trade. Do you have something?
Well, I was just going to say, I think that this opened up the conversation once again that I think with how secure the league is now and the growth of it financially and the fact that players are in fact going to be getting back escrow, and that's probably not going to be a thing moving forward. These types of trades make the league more interesting.
Big time.
And they should look to impose a luxury tax and not a hard cap, so it makes these things possible. I know right now you got Chicago having to jump in there to retain salary so all this stuff can kind of work, and there is a way around it to some degree, but in order for this league to thrive, I think that blockbuster deals is a component that they really, really have to look at in the next CBA and how it's all going to work. I still go back to the fact that one guy per team should be able to make as much as a team is willing to pay him, and it should not count against the cap, whatever you want to call it, a franchise tag, blah, blah, blah. I don't think there are enough like superstars in the league where you would need more than one per team. So I think that would be a healthy place to bring it where, I mean, look at this, like the fucking internet broke and now you get to see this type of excitement in a team like Carolina bringing a top 5 player in the league. And it just makes things more exciting and good for Carolina and their fan base and their organization for having the balls to get very creative. Shout out to is it Tulsky?
Yeah.
What a G. Him and the Capologist team, like what a G. I love this guy.
Well, Pasha's all about like, this is what you got all these old ex-players being GMs. This is who's going to take over, all the stats, all the analytical guys. I'm like, settle down, Pasha. Like that just goes into Pasha just thinking like you can actually decide who the best player is by looking at numbers after a game.
Yeah.
Since when does like cameramen have a voice? Like why is Pasha even talking? Like he's a cameraman
because he's a deranged Devils fan.
That's a hell of a question.
Biz, I do think that you talk about blockbuster trades with superstars. I agree, like the cap has a lot to do with that, but these guys all have no move deals. That's a big part of like not having blockbuster deals. You sign these superstars and it's like no movement clause, can't even send my ass down. So We'll see. But I think we throw it to Martin Necas. A little bit different of an interview, considering he was on the Canes when we recorded this. But a really nice guy. You'll get to know his personality a little bit. So we're going to throw it over to him right now.
Yeah, here you go for you Avs fans. Get to know your new player.
He can talk about all the Carolina.
Sorry, Carolina.
Guys, before we continue, I need to talk to you about Rocket Money. The start of a new year is the perfect time to get organized, set goals, and prioritize what matters most. For me, a top priority is my financial wellness, which feels more important than ever. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. I hopped on Rocket Money last year and immediately was told that I probably was double paying for 6 to 7 different things. I had no idea. Rocket Money made it so simple. They go in, they cancel everything, they do it for you. You see all of your subscriptions in one place and know exactly where your money is going. For ones you don't want anymore, Rocket Money can help you cancel them. Rocket Money's dashboard gives you a clear view of your expenses across all of your accounts. Easily create a personalized budget with custom categories to keep your spending on track. See your monthly spending trends in each category to know exactly where your money is going. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's premium features. I was right around $800 a year, so I was above the average. So join that and get involved in saving money easily. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/chiclets today. That's rocketmoney.com/chiclets. rocketmoney.com/chiclets. It is an honor right now to be joined by one of the hottest players in the National Hockey League, a guy who has come out of the gates like a rocket ship, lighting up the entire league right now. Maybe the best 3-on-3 overtime player these eyes have ever seen. Carolina Hurricanes star forward Martin Necas. What's going on, buddy?
What's up, guys? Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate it. And I guess we'll kind of start off. We've been told by a couple people that your nickname's Gary, but we have no clue why. Where did Gary come from?
You don't look like a Gary.
Oh my God. I mean, a couple of teammates were snitching on me, I guess. So
it's just something that can be talked about or not be talked about.
I mean, it's just I had a bunch of nicknames around here in Carolina. Now it's couple guys call me Gary, but mostly it's Netchy. But I know the guy who is it coming from? It's coming from everybody, from Jordan Martin, and that's the guy we kind of call each other like that.
So right when you signed on to this the Zoom we're doing, I noticed that's the same background that Seth Jarvis had when we interviewed him, and you said, yeah, a bunch of you guys live together. That must be incredible, just in the same apartment complex, living it up. It's a really close-knit group, huh?
Yeah, I mean, you guys visited Raleigh. It's not a huge city, so there's not many apartment buildings to live in, I feel like, here, and this is one of the newer ones. So I think 4 or 5 guys live here, and nice to see each other here as well and hang out, sometimes.
Who's the one throwing the after hours when you guys end up back there?
Oh, I mean, probably Jerry. He's also single, so you see him getting loose here a little bit. Other guys that they have girlfriends, it's a little different story. So mostly him, but I would say you go pretty often and hang out to KK's. KK's is like a spot where he has the golf sim and he lives like 2 minutes from here. So days off like this, we go to his place and chill there.
So that's Seth's date spot is the simulator. He's bringing the girls over to the simulator, having a couple pops, getting
Want to
loose.
play Pebble Beach, babe?
I don't think so there. The problem is KK has a girlfriend too. So he's doing on his own, and we just go hang out there. He's got a nice sauna there, so we'll go chill, hit the sauna, maybe a couple of drinks, and all day like this, it's beautiful.
Well, speaking of golf, a little birdie told me earlier that you played around with Harry Styles.
Yeah, we did. I don't know how long is it ago. I think 2 or 3 years ago. Me and Sebastian Aho and Justin Williams, we got to play with him. It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. At the time, I was still pretty bad at golf, so I wasn't as excited as the other guys, but it was cool to meet him.
How was he? Like as a
Actually,
golfer?
he was not bad. I think he plays quite a bit. He wasn't bad. At the start, he wasn't great, and he wasn't talking that much. But then he got a little loose. Like, he figured out we're not like the fans that he has, the crazy fans, and we're just we're just normal guys trying to enjoy around. And he actually opened up. He talked quite a bit too, and it was cool.
By the end of the round, he's slinging back the pops, calling you Gary. Did he open up that much?
No. I mean, Gary, that's only one teammate that's called me. Only one guy in the role pro is calling me that, and that's Marty from our locker room. So nobody else calls me that.
It's been in such an incredible start for yourself and the team. Everyone's playing great. I'm wondering, like, it was probably a weird camp because you lost guys. Gensel's gone, and all of a sudden these guys who'd been a big part of your team with Pesci, they're not there anymore. Like, was something said about how it's just such a new beginning for you guys, or was it business as usual with Rod the Bod there?
I think we were confident coming in the year. I feel like obviously we lost some guys, but we brought some too, and you see their guys like Ghost. They've been great additions, and he's been really good in power play, and not just him but other guys as well. And the other guys like me, Jarvi, Swetch, if you could step it up a little bit, we can still be good, and that's what I feel like we showed in first quarter, and feel like we're only getting better.
Marty, what do you think the reason is for your breakout? Do you feel like you've been given maybe a little bit more opportunity this year and gotten a little bit more trust from Rod the Bod? Like, what do you think the reason is for the breakout all of a sudden? We knew you had all the skill in the world, but it seems like really this year it's all coming together and the world is seeing the player that you are.
Yeah, I mean, you guys know how it is when you get on the first power play. Maybe not you, Biz, but
okay, we got him warmed up. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
But every time
the second unit, Marty.
Every time there's a power play, you don't even think, you jump on the ice, and you get those touches, and every time you just don't think you play in the zone, and that's how I felt so far this season. That not thinking too much, just playing my game, and being on the ice way more too. So that's been great, and I've been enjoying it.
I always wonder when you see guys that skate the way you do. I mean, you're one of the best skaters in the league, one of the fastest players. Like, was there anything you did in particular as a young kid, or is that just something you're kind of born with it a little bit? Like, was there a special skill coach or skating coach you had, or was it like almost this just kind of came pretty natural to me?
Yeah, maybe a little bit both, but ever since I was young, I always tried to work a lot on edges and kind of work on the power skating, and I was always tiny till I was like 17, so I always work on the those tight turns and being good in the crossovers. And then once I got a little stronger, I feel like then my speed really got better. And yeah, for me, it's all about the edges, and if I can, instead of losing speed in the crossovers, gaining some, that's the key for me.
I always wonder, like, or have thought that it may help when you mentioned that you were really small and then had a growth spurt. Now I think you're 6'3", a big guy with that long frame to get the speed. But do you think it helped almost being smaller until you were 17 to learn how to play the game that way and kind of have to use your size disadvantage and still be able to score? And then all of a sudden you get the height and it's like, wow, this is even easier because I had to learn as I was younger.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely easier, I would say, being younger, and at the time maybe it's not, but being smaller and kind of think about the game and thinking more than just playing the out muscle guys and stuff like that. So that was always my game, and then I grew, and it became a little easier. So that was definitely me. I think when I was drafted, I was 165 pounds, and then I kind of started growing. So definitely big difference once you start getting stronger, and the game's easier.
I remember talking to Vinny Trocheck, and you were obviously a great player, drafted super high, and I remember saying, I'm like, why isn't this guy playing every other shift? Like, I thought you were one of the best players, but you weren't really getting that opportunity. But you also never heard you complaining about it on the ice. Is that, from what you kind of grew up with, just kind of earning your spot, or does that come from, the Hurricanes and how they run their the program there?
I mean, obviously we had a really good team and lots of players here, so it'd be probably easier for me to play way more on some teams, like I don't know, the teams that are not making playoffs, and I could maybe break out a little earlier, but better this way, to be playing playoffs every year. And I've always wanted to play as much as possible, but with so many good players, we had 2 seasons ago, I got the opportunity in the first power play as well, and they kind of made me feel good. And then this year has been the biggest change. I'm not 18-year-old anymore. I'm 25, and kind of played in this league for 6 years, and finally I'm earning it.
There was some talk, and I'd love to get your opinion on it, because you never really know what to believe when there's reports out there, but it was like Necas may be traded. There's discussion that he might be moved, and then there's all this news about how many teams would want you. And when you did come back to camp and there wasn't a trade, was there a discussion between you and Rod Brind'Amour in terms of what he needs from you for you to get that 22, 23 minutes of ice time, and then you were able to give a little bit of a back and forth to what you thought, or was that discussion that I kind of heard about all fake news?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I wasn't happy with the way I played and how much I played, and same thing with Roddy after last season. There was possible there's going to be some changes, but the way free agency went, we figured out to keep me in Raleigh, and then we had a talk with Roddy for sure that my role is gonna be way bigger, and I gotta be more responsible. And
nice.
The biggest thing is to play game after game, not being really good for one game, then kind of don't show up for a couple. So definitely gave me this role, and that's the way I always wanted to be. So he made me comfortable, and definitely progress from both sides.
I mean, you also got to be thrilled, and kind of buttoning up this subject at the fact that you end up signing basically a 2-year bridge deal. I mean, it's a wicked bargain contract for the Carolina Hurricanes. Were you okay taking that, or were you maybe a little disappointed where they didn't invest in you and believe in you maybe long term, or were you like, no, I understand the business, I'm going to take this bridge deal and I'm going to show them exactly what I'm made of, and see you next July 1st.
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
bring me to ARB, and don't call your lawyer.
honestly, there are talks about long term as well, but I never wanted the long term. After last season, I felt like I can that my game is better than what I showed so far, and I can earn a better contract or whatever. And and the most important to kind of establish my role on the team, right? I wouldn't want to play on a third line for the next 8 years. I want to, get the first and second line, and, being the guy, and then, be here for a long term. So, I was happy with 2-year deal. That's what I wanted. I wanted to bridge deal, and, we'll see what's gonna happen next.
Where does that strong mindset come from? It seems like you're very confident in your abilities. Is that something you've always had from a young age? Have you always, obviously you're putting in the work in the off season, but that's like, you're putting your nuts on the line like that, and that's fucking ballsy move.
I mean, I'm always trying to be confident, not cocky, but confident. And I always felt I knew what I can do. And, with this opportunity I'm getting here right now is something that I always wanted. And just like I said, that's where I feel good. So, I was confident in taking 2-year deal, and, still young, and I can sign longer deals later on.
Being 6'3", being able to skate like the wind and shoot the puck like a fucking animal probably helps the confidence too, Biz.
Where does number 88 come from? I mean, obviously Pasta, you guys are Czech and won the gold medal together at the Worlds. Do you wear that because of him, or is that just your favorite number growing up as well?
No, I mean, he's only 3 years older than me, so
true.
Don't have it from him, but actually, ever since I was young, I always my idol was Ovi, and when I came to Czech League, 8 was taken, so I just doubled the 8 to 88, and kind of stuck ever since that.
So going back to your youth and Czech, and we've been lucky enough to interview Patrick Elias. We've talked to a bunch of guys. We had Jaromír Jágr on once, and it was so different for those guys, right? Like communism and so much has changed for you when you were growing up. But What was it like growing up in Czech and playing? Like, did you have great programs? Were you given gear? Like, who was your biggest influence and who you looked up to in the game? Besides Ovi, I mean, someone in maybe the local community and where you were playing as a young kid.
Yeah, I grew up in a small city, and the team that I played for till I was 15. I think on every category we had only 2 lines, so I was playing a lot, and playing hockey in Czech is really cheap compared to here US. What I see and how much. I mean, Bernsy's got a kid that's Jagger. He's 14, 15 years old. I see how much they pay for travel and everything. Which in Czech, I think you pay like a fee that is around $800 dollars a year. So, and that's basically covered everything. I think all you got to buy is skates. So it's definitely way cheaper. And for me, just playing a lot when I was young, instead of playing 4 lines, I would play 2-3 times a weekend and playing on 2 lines, double shifting every game. That was huge.
Well, how do you pronounce like on Hockey DB, the name of your hometown? It's kind of it's pronounced, it's like 4 different words.
Yeah, it's Jana Sazo, which is you'd probably sounds like in one word, but it is actually it is actually 4 words, and just a small town that's about 20,000 people. I think they're probably playing the 3rd highest league in Czech, and it's more about the little kids growing up.
Any other NHLers from that town?
There was Martin Necas, he was drafted in Colorado first round. He played I don't know how many games, around 50, 60 games. Now he's back in Czech. He was my age, so we grew up together. Obviously, he made it. Now he's back in Czech. And then I think there was Martin Necas, which I think he played like a couple games. But we actually had quite a few guys that's playing in Czech League and around Europe. So quite successful team for being basically a village.
I noticed on your club team, I mean, it was probably great exposure for you. The name of the team is Brno Kometa. And my understanding is Martin Erat was a good mentor to you, and you guys became very close. And I was just going to ask you about that. And how did you end up committing to that club team in which you won back-to-back championships your draft year and then the year after?
Yeah, so when I was 15, I had to move somewhere because there wasn't in the under 16 category, there wasn't the highest league, so I had to move somewhere, and that team was closest to me, and I felt like being close from my hometown is a good thing, and moved there. And I was 17. I started playing there with the in the men's league, and Marty Erat kind of took care of me. He showed me the way. He showed me through. Learned from him, play on the line with him when I was 17, which was unbelievable. Did you play with Marty?
He was he was in Phoenix for a hot minute with us, Jens, wasn't he? He was a great guy. I want to say he came over from Washington.
Yeah, he was traded. He was traded for Forsberg, I think.
Yes,
that's right. That's right. So he came over from Nashville
to Washington. Yeah. He came to I don't know. I think he was Washington, Arizona, Nashville, helping me 17-year-old, and basically teaching me everything in the men's hockey. That was huge, and we still talk. Actually, he just texted me today. We're going for dinner in Nashville where he played there the day before Christmas. And, what a great guy he is.
We've talked a lot about on this show about development in the AHL and how, there's Crosby and McDavid and they don't need to be there a year. But you're kind of proving you can still be a superstar and spend that year or two in the AHL. Your first year over here, you had an unreal year there, but you were down there, I think, besides maybe a couple games. Was that disappointing to you, or were you okay with it? And looking back now, do you agree that most guys, if not everyone, could really benefit from a year of becoming a pro playing in the American Hockey League?
Yeah, I started a season in NHL. I played 7 games and I got sent down. They told me I'm going for a week and just play a couple games, couple back-to-back games, and never came back. So it was tough. It was tough for me being, I think I was 18 or 19, and
so you were rattled at the time a little bit.
I was definitely rattled. I mean, I wanted to come back. I think I was very good a year there, but it was good because we had a good team, we had a good coach, and just playing here in the small ice is definitely different than Europe, and especially for the at the time I was, I don't know, 170, 80 pounds. So wasn't huge, and kind of learning the way how to play was great. The winning color there was fun too, but obviously wanted to be NHL, but definitely helped a lot. And I would say it's the second best league in the world. It's I played in Czech, and AHL is definitely stuck to love on that.
Good friend of Keith and I, Ryan Wasowski, he's now the head coach in San Jose. He was your assistant that year in Charlotte. Could you have seen him going on and becoming a head coach in the NHL at such a young age? I mean, obviously, usually have a better relationship with assistant coaches than head coaches. So I don't know if you kind of could have seen what his future had in store.
Yeah, I mean, Warzy was great. He was, at the time he was his assistant, so he was more like joking around and on the ice, kind of doing drills with us and stuff. So he was great, and definitely you could see, how passionate he is for the game and how much he loves it. So you could definitely see there was a future, and good for him. He's San Jose, and he's got some great future on it ahead of him.
Yeah, I also think too, just even playing in the minors, like you said, they told you you're going down for the weekend. You stay the rest of that year, and I know it did for me too. Like when I got called up that second time, I was like, I never want to go back there. Never want to be on another bus. Obviously, it's a great league, and it's there for a good reason. But it just lights you even more. That next summer, I remember being like, I gotta start working out more with Whit and get in the gym and find my way back up to the NHL so I never get sent down.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, it's a great experience. And after you see, the NHL life, and then you go to AHL and you see like all the traveling on the whatever commercial planes and busing, it's then you appreciate the NHL a lot, and you never want to go down.
You got the chance to win a world championship on home ice last year. You got to do it with Pasternak. There was an unreal celebration. I want to know about that experience, but does it kind of make you a little sad that they didn't incorporate you guys in this Four Nations? Like, are you texting with all the other Czech guys being like, fuck, wait till we get the Olympics so we can spank these guys around?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it sucks, but I think at the same time, it was it's not IHF, so it's just NHL. And I think at the time we have, like this season, we have 3 or 4 D-mans that could play for us. So, we probably couldn't even make the team because we had, I think lots of forwards, but not enough D and in the NHL right now, which kind of sad, but it's the way it is. And, maybe the only way they could have made it, obviously, if Russia could be there, that it could be maybe Team Europe or Czechoslovakia.
Biz brought up the gold medal on home ice, though, and we saw Pasta with the beers after on stage in the town square, the city square. Like, what do you remember from that? How exciting was it, and how special was it being able to celebrate the win in Czech?
Yeah, I think a couple of days after he was making something with you guys, right? I think it
was the next day.
I think we were at the pub, and he was like, he had to go in the back, do something with you guys.
I hadn't seen him that drunk since the sandbagger we did with him. That was the day of the skills competition.
Yeah, I seen that too. On the field, right? It was pretty funny, but I mean, the winning it in Czech, it was unbelievable. It was the best moment basically of my life. It was the party we threw after was crazy, and motivation to do this in Raleigh and celebrate here.
So now you mentioned, like, you came in the NHL, got some games 18, now 25, best year of your career. What do you think you're most improved at from the beginning? Like, what is different now for your game? I mean, obviously size and strength has changed, but is there anything in particular with your actual game that you're like, wow, like 7 years later, I'm so much better at this?
Yeah. What is Rod yelling at you less about is what he's asking you.
Maybe a little bit my defense, but from my perspective, I would say kind of slow the game down a little bit. Obviously, I know I can skate fast, but I kind of figure out when I came over here, I felt like everywhere I just got to go super fast. Now I feel like it's better to kind of pace to go a little slower, a little faster, and there is way better D-mans than in Europe. So I figure out the way I can create speed and then kind of slow it down. I can make more plays and kind of wait for the D-men to jump into place, and always trying to look for second waves and stuff. So there's one thing I would definitely say that I'll slow the game down a little bit.
We talked about mentors earlier in Martin Necas. Now, your father, from my understanding, was a professional hockey player as well. like what type of advice growing up and what was it like being around the rink with him? And I'm sure that he was probably a very close mentor to you as well. And did he push you very hard? Was he very easy on you?
No, so he was actually professional cross country ski. He never played hockey. He never played hockey, but
cross country skiing might be the hardest sport on the lungs, like in the world. Like that guy must have been a beast.
Yeah, I mean, the comment is more right. The way it worked for him, he had to do it. He had no other options. He had to go cross country ski because he was in an area where they didn't. So I think when he was like 5, 6, 7, he quit and he was always playing soccer and other sports. So ever since I was young, they brought me to hockey, and relationship with him, we always had more like a father and son. We always had like buddies, and I feel like that's right now too. He knows that I know hockey better than him, so we more talk about hockey like friends, and he's trying to give me some advice, and I kind of talk back to him about that. So trying to help him a little bit with the team that he's GM as well in my hometown, and I mean he's a great guy, and just like I said, it's more like that. He never really yell at me, only when I was young if I would do something stupid, but really friendly relationship we got.
Did you ever cross country ski for your VO2 and to get in better shape?
Yeah, but no, I mean that's something that I never liked, and he never really pushed me into it because it might be one of the hardest sports ever. It's
you're just a husky, basically.
It actually looks like
working.
It looks like one of the most miserable sports in the world. Maybe like
I don't know what you enjoy about it. At least if you have biathlon, you get to shoot the gun, and that's kind of something that breaks it down. But going like this for a couple of hours, it's exhausting, and for the work they have to put in is crazy.
Our producer told me that you're an enormous Liverpool fan in the Premier League. Like, how did that come about? I know all the Euros I played with are enormous into soccer or football, whatever you call it, and have you been to a game there? Like my Chelsea club, they're kind of on your heels right now. I don't know if we can get that done, but how did that come about where Liverpool is your squad?
Ever since I was young, I always supported Liverpool. I don't know. I don't really know why. I don't really know the answer, but always like them. But a pretty good team, I would say. I actually never been to the game there. I go every summer. We go to London. Actually, watch our team Chelsea because actually we have a buddy, Peter Czech, who was a legendary goalie. He always gets us tickets there, and we go spend the weekend there, throw a little party, and enjoy a couple of games. So with a lot of guys actually with a lot of Czech NHL players, we're playing the Premier League fantasy. Pasta's in there, Mrazek, Tatar. We have a chat that we always chat during the weekend when we're watching the games. It's something that I like to do when I'm on all days and I have to think about hockey.
Have you ever shot on Peter Czech? I've seen him on the ice. I think it was with Chicago, right?
He's boys with Darling.
Oh, is that what it is? Like he looks like a legit hockey goalie.
Yeah, I skated with him a couple of times. I skated with him, I think this summer or last summer. He's actually pretty good, man. He's huge, and he would always send Peter Mrazek. You always send him videos like what kind of drills he's doing, and like he's doing all this crazy stuff. It's he's very passionate, and I think he's playing like his first or second league in England.
So this guy's name's Peter Czech. He's from Czech. He played for Liverpool as a goalie, and now he's Chelsea.
He wore a helmet.
His hometown is called Peter.
I mean, hey, you don't know nothing about soccer. He's probably one of the best goalies that ever played. Actually,
were those guys making the dough in the Premier League back then when he was playing? Oh, so he's just
retired.
Big time.
Biz played in that England league.
What's that?
He's playing in the league that you played in during the lockout. I think. Seriously,
he played there.
Actually,
no, he's actually playing. I think he's playing for Belfast or something like that.
No shit, eh? Okay.
Guy who just started playing hockey's in the same league as Biz.
Biz had over a point per game there. Just put it that way.
I was the Martin Necas of the EIHL. Are you kidding me?
PP1, eh?
PP1. Now, I know you're still a growing boy, but like I've been getting massive complaints from guys in your team about you clogging the shitter on the team flight. Like, what's up with you? I mean, come on, Gary.
You don't like to hear that.
You can't
Jarvis
be
is
shitting
a
on the
prick,
team
huh?
plane. Are they doing that over in Czech? Shitting on the team. You got to hold that. You got to do it at the coach's side. Can't do it at the player's
Marty,
side.
man. This guy always brings shit on all the players. Like I saw the episode with Jarvis. It's the same thing. You got to get him on the podcast, and we're gonna tell you all the stuff that he does. On
No, he's too ugly.
He had the bird. He had the Birdman podcast when he was on. He was like by this like tree, and it had like a parrot in it, didn't it? You guys remember that?
I didn't see that.
I thought
Come
he was
on, we
in
gotta get
Jarvis.
G on here.
Jarvis?
No, when we had Marty on.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, he was like, "Caw-caw!" And I'm like, hey man, you mind moving spots here? Or your fucking pet parakeet keeps interrupting our fucking StreamYard.
It was a
at the
toucan
zoo.
nose.
He's at the zoo. Like, so you must love playing there. I know it's not the biggest market, but the fans are so hardcore. Like we went to a game there not too long ago
Against Edmonton, Biz.
against Edmonton, and they are just rapid, and it's just such a rush going in that building. And I don't think it gets the respect it deserves from the Caniacs.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely got so much better over the years. When I was drafted, honestly, the team kind of sucked, so it wasn't. It's always when the team's doing good, it's way better. And now we build into the position where I think it's sold out every game. And the building's loud. The building's loud. The players are crazy, and it's a passionate fan base now. It's actually a nice combination of really good fans and still in the city being kind of free and not many people recognizing you. So I love it here. The weather's great, the team's great. So hopefully we can keep this going, and be very special to win the cup here.
Do they still have the cheerleaders in the crowd? Because I remember when I was playing there, I'm like, God damn, there's some beautiful women down here. And they got them like shooting off the t-shirt guns. They're in these like awesome outfits. They're doing the dances. I would say outside of Dallas, Jans, they might have had the best ones.
I was playing.
Dallas has the ice girls, right? I don't think we have the crew,
No,
but,
yours aren't skating. That's why I gave the upper hand. And then
That's why he saw him, because he was in the crowd with him.
Get your shirt.
I don't think
was
I
it at
ever
the time when
played.
you were scratched or what?
I was scratch a lot in Carolina for whatever reason. They're like, this is a fast team. We're gonna sit you out on this one. Have fun eating popcorn with the cheerleaders. Now, when you go to Dallas, are they still in the hallway? The ones that skate on the ice with the shovels?
Think so. We only go there once a year, so I actually think so. They're always there in the corner where they get it going. And
I think that they're there to distract the away team because they put this perfume on and it just distracts you when you're going out. So that's why I was asking you, do they still have them positioned in that tunnel? I think that like the opposite team should call the league. It's too much of a distraction, or at least for me. And I wasn't even playing. I was warming up.
we might have to sign you on our team for, to take care of them and let's play some hockey.
What do you mean by that?
Well, whatever you think.
We interviewed Patrick Laine the other day. We were kind of talking welcome to the NHL moment, or more so like, you ever gotten crushed by anyone? And he's like, yeah, Jake McCabe just murdered me center ice one time. Like, do you remember first year or two just getting lit up by somebody, or a welcome to the NHL moment when you think of that question?
Yeah, I think my first year, I think it was the year when I got sent down. Maybe it was the first game against Montreal. Shaw ever gave me a cross check in front of the net, and I almost from in front of the net, I end up in the corner. I was like, "Oh my god, this guy was so strong." I'm glad he's not playing against us anymore, because those shots and those cross checks were crazy. And it was the one guy that you were actually scared of going in front, because he was just way too strong.
Yeah, he was intimidating. He was
Scary, man.
Him being in the Hall of Fame just makes total sense to me. Like, I think just thinking of how he played the game, it was a guy like, oh fuck, I just get out of the way. If he winds up, that was it. I luckily was never in front of the net to get cross-checked by him. But
so obviously it stinks that we're not going to be able to watch you in the Four Nations and your other teammates. But what's your plan for the little break that you guys got? You going to go golfing anywhere, beach it up somewhere?
We're gonna go to Anguilla We were there last year, and it's a beautiful spot. Just enjoy for 5 days. They have a nice golf course there as well. So there's gonna be a bunch of us, and just have a little fun. Watch Jarvi Slavo, Fishy play the Four Nations, and then come back. And guess we're gonna have to practice for a few days because the break is long.
Do you guys ever tee it up during the season in Raleigh, like play some golf, or is it kind of hard, like off days you're gassed, or do you guys get out there a little bit?
Do you ever play with Williams, or does he have too much PTSD from getting waxed by us in the sandbagger?
I saw that too. It really just a little bit, but during the season, I think KK and Jarvi didn't play today. This morning, or actually, I think right now they're finishing. So I was gonna go with them, but
wow, what a guy!
What a gentleman.
I chose you guys, but there's not that many times during the season that we play. But on days like this, we have a day off today, then just practice tomorrow. So it's actually right now around, I don't know, what is it, 75 degrees. I don't know what is it. It's 20 degrees Celsius. I'm still in the Celsius, so quite nice.
I don't
here,
know either.
And, yeah, it's quite nice here, and we don't get to play too much, but when it's days like this, it's definitely go time.
Do you know the trick? Do you know the trick to go Celsius to Fahrenheit?
I don't.
Times 2 plus 30.
Times 2 plus. Oh, so yeah, so it's 70.
70
I
degrees, the perfect
Nailed
golfing
it.
weather.
Nailed it.
I mean,
this guy's a genius.
I appreciate you coming on because I'm the host of the show and I skip it for golf. So the fact that you gave away a day of golf with Jarvis, you're probably like, I can't stand Jarvis. I'm enough around him enough in the room. I don't need to be with him on the course today. He's nonstop, huh?
He's he's my favorite guy ever. Like he's unbelievable. He's such a good teammate and such a funny guy, and just easygoing. And you guys had him, and you guys definitely heard of him too. So what a great player, and the best teammates that you can ask for.
Did you ever get Stalzy to laugh? He seems like a pretty serious guy. He's pretty even keel. You ever open him up a little bit?
Yeah, Steelsy, we get him going. We get him going, especially the younger guys. We try to get him going in the Super Bowl, which we play before the game. We always try to kill him when sometimes you see him, he comes rattled, then you kill him a couple of times, he's mad, and like we gotta slow down a little bit. But he gets it going, and he's low key. He's he doesn't talk that much in the locker room. He talks only when it's needed. But super nice guy, and what a unit he is on the ice. He doesn't even need to skate. He just protects the puck, and guys pushing him around, and he gets his momentum going. So it's pretty impressive. It's pretty impressive in what kind of shape he is. Spine in his ear and ears, and great guy.
You got to ask him because his rookie year, I played with him. He had 29 goals, and I don't remember exactly what he said, but I think an empty net goal, like just missed the net or something like that. He's like, I didn't want it anyways, or something like I didn't need it. And then he ended up with 29, and like we were just busting his balls. But you got to ask him if he remembers that. He kind of jinxed himself from getting 30 as an 18-year-old. But what you say is true. Like he's just so big. He's just a mountain. You can't move him when you try to push him. He just walks around his thick legs. And as he's gotten older, I mean, he's probably 35, 36. He's played like 1,200 games too. So it's crazy to see how easy the games come to him, and just being very comfortable with like a shutdown center role always.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. I'm just seeing him, like his line is right now him, Marty, and Carrier, and seeing them playing against the top lines. It's I feel like every time some top players can play against us, especially at home when we can hit the matchup and they play against them the whole game, it's like a nightmare for them because the puck's flying around the boards. They go on a forecheck, they back check, they hit you, and it's just something that as an offensive guy you hate to play against. And also he wins almost every face-off. So quite a special defensive player, and he's a big part of our team.
Looking right now at your draft, you were the 12th pick. You're the fourth. You have the fourth most goals from that draft right now, and it seems like you're really hitting your stride now. Like going back to the draft, do you remember as the Carolina pick came up, like you knew it was going to be you? Did you think you were maybe going to go earlier? Like it's always interesting for me to hear like the memories from the draft and how it kind of all came about for you to get selected where you did.
I had no idea who would take me. Only team that I kind of thought, and I talked a lot with before the draft was Detroit, which I think they picked, I don't know, 11th or 10th, something like that. They
picked 9th.
Ninth. So, and then I kind of found out they wanted bigger guys, so they got Rasmussen.
Whoops.
And then actually, I had no idea. I had no idea. I was just, happy to get drafted and, quite nervous at the time.
As good as this season's going, does it intimidate you that you're going to have to negotiate a big contract with this guy, Eric Tulsky?
Yeah. I don't know. Not really thinking about the contract that much. He's a really smart guy, as you can see.
He looks like he's like like a brainiac.
He looks like a mad scientist.
He looks like he runs a Fortune 500 company.
I mean, he is. I don't know.
Oh yeah, he is actually.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, he's like a full-on genius.
He has like patents and like copies, like invented things.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't know exactly. I don't want to say the wrong things, but
he sues you.
Some crazy schools, and he is super smart and he's really good with the numbers. So we'll see once we go and negotiate. But I got one more year after this, and let's see what's going to happen.
All right. Well, we hope you get your ticket come July 1st, buddy. We appreciate you coming on. Didn't like the jab early, but you're right.
I loved it.
I loved it, Gary.
I didn't play power play, but I did.
Thank you. Everybody's chirping, man. So
I did on the EIHL, and I bet you I could light up Peter Czech if I tried.
No chance.
I don't think so. We'll have to go on the ice once.
Peter Czech like wore a helmet playing soccer goalie. He'd be like, I don't even need it if Biz is shooting on me. Like, I'll just go no dome. Like, this guy can't even lift the puck. So, Gary, Marty, we appreciate you coming on. It's a blast watching you play, man. So good luck the rest of the way. Yeah, and stop shitting on the plane, bud.
Shut up, Biz. Come on, let me be. Freaking Marty. I hate that guy. No, I actually love him.
Team Tulsky. Team Tulsky.
That's our nickname. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, buddy.
See you, brother.
Guys, before we go any further, I want to talk to you about Rhoback. If you're watching on YouTube right now, you can see I'm pointing at the Rhoback logo. And let us introduce you to Rhoback Activewear. If you've seen that little dog or those 2 stripes on the back of shirts, you've seen Rhoback. It's everywhere. People are coming to realize how great Rhoback is, and we couldn't be more fired up to be rocking Rhoback because the quality is unmatched. Between the hoodies, joggers, tees, and polos, they have the best fabrics and the best fitting gear out there. So comfortable. You want to lay around, watch a movie? Rhoback. You want to go out to dinner and look classy? Rhoback. You want to be comfortable on a flight? Rhoback. So use code Chiclets on Rhoback.com for a generous 20% off your first purchase through the end of this week. That's CHICLETS on RHOBACK.com. Code Chiclets at Rhoback.com, 20% off all hoodies, joggers, and more with code Chiclets. And I'm telling you, you will not be disappointed. The fabric, the material, how comfortable it is. Rhoback.com, code Chiclets. Thank you so much to Martin Necas. Karen, Colorado Avalanche winger, who interviewed us in, I believe, a Carolina Hurricanes hat and shirt. So thank you very much to him. Great guy. I'm sure his teammates will miss him. Did you see Rantanen meeting the Hurricanes and Roslovic is like, hey, where's my watch? Because he gave him number 96. He's fucking around. So the craziest thing about Rantanen meeting all those guys is he is a monster.
He's like, I'll buy you one when I sign with the Leafs.
He's a monster, though. He was towering over guys.
He's a beast.
And looks like he's about 230. So
I can't wait to see him
a
in
machine.
blue.
Yeah, I can't wait
to see him in Bonnie Blue.
I was wondering if because they showed something on Instagram of him getting off the PJ, and then they just showed Halsey kind of like at the hotel. Did they not send?
He's on like Spirit. He's like, look, he's paying 25 cents to use the overhead compartment.
No, he hitchhiked like Dale Talon.
Oh, I didn't know that.
We interviewed Dale Talon, by the way. I cannot wait for you guys to hear this one. We got some fucking wily veterans. We got Mike Keenan. I like to tease these. Mike Keenan. We got Dale Talon and Hall of Famer Pierre Turgeon, who actually just called Yans. And
All on this couch.
So Dale, who's what? How old is Dale?
75.
75. Mike Keenan, 75. Been in the game a long time. All their bodies are in better shape than Biz.
oh yeah,
Legit. Oh,
Like,
yeah.
their
Oh, yeah.
backs aren't giving out. Like,
Yeah.
they're,
Because they're not working out
Well,
twice.
that's
you
why
gotta
my
know
back-
too. I
well,
know
that's
you're
why my
single.
back got thrown out. I was carrying the interviews.
I know you're single, but dad bods are kind of in right now.
Dad
Are
bods
they?
are phenomenal.
but single life, I'm sure.
And I
it's
think
a
he
little
said like 80% of adults like have like a lot of stress. It's like, I don't think like most of them are single, rich, and good looking. Like it's like kids and money.
Hey, I'll
related
take a
stress.
tire pump when I hear one. I'll take a tire pump.
I'm always pumping your tires, buddy.
I'm a soft 7.
You're a soft 7?
I'm a soft
Yeah,
7.
but with your bank account. And
Personality and
You're
then
an
bank account brings you like a 9.1 maybe.
Oh, fucking 9. We should, yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess
We can move
I
on.
guess there's some issues that could bring you back down.
Yeah.
Bring up. Time for the weekly Vancouver Canucks JT Miller, Elias Pettersson rumor mill drama. It sounds like
There's another Elias Pettersson.
that's crazy.
They brought another one in to
JT
deflect.
Miller's just shaking. No. He's like, wait, what's your name? He's like, Elias Pettersson. Fuck you.
Yeah, they're like, abuse this one for a few weeks until we get rid of the other one.
They changed his name.
Yeah, yeah.
But it sounded like that Pettersson to Carolina like was close to getting done.
Yeah.
Which one? Number 40?
I don't know which one.
Okay.
I think it's the one that makes
Pagula
11.25.
cock-blocked it because now it's Buffalo he's going to.
Well, now you hear Buffalo, but with Miller, Frank Saravelli reported it sounds like the Rangers and the Devils are in the mix, and then the Bruins are a dark horse. Biz, you've made it clear that you've been told or heard that Drury would do anything and really wants JT Miller in a Rangers jersey. I think he would really help the Devils. And the fucking storyline of him going to Pasha's team after all Pasha does is shit on a 100-point player. It would be just a dream come true for me. But I guess that if Pettersson was going to be moved over to the Hurricanes and then Rantanen all of a sudden became available, they were thinking we'd rather him, I would assume.
Yeah, I mean, and then also Kevin Weeks quote tweeted Callahan, who posted a picture of the Pittsburgh skyline. So I don't know, maybe there's a world where JT ends up back in his hometown of Pittsburgh, where that would be a perfect little revamp for the Pittsburgh Penguins, where now all of a sudden they would have a nice 1-2 punch down the middle, and that would
Sid
make more
Devan.
No, Sid would be actually staying in Pittsburgh in that situation. And from my understanding, Vancouver is looking for a defenseman. And speaking of another Pettersson, the defenseman for the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Marcus.
The Vancouver Pettersson.
Yeah,
Bring
that
them
would
all.
be insane, eh? That
would be
just
great.
like Pettersson overload. So there's just like a lot of like rumor mill action going right now, but it feels like after this Rantanen trade, now you're going to see things start taking effect and trickling in. So
Do you think Vancouver would take back Erik Karlsson if Pittsburgh eats somebody?
No, they got, by the way, Quinn Hughes had one of the best games anyone in the league has had on Saturday
He's
night.
carrying that
He
team.
beat the Capitals.
Yeah.
He scored one of the sickest backhand goals I've ever seen a defenseman score, then walked the line with his head up the entire time and just shelved one from the point.
it went
2-1
through
win.
17 players.
I know. And it was labeled where the crossbar meets the post. It was unreal shot. And he's just the fact that he's doing this and like they're still like in the race because of this one guy. He probably deserves like MVP discussion.
Correct.
Like if the award is most valuable to your team, he's that right now.
What I respect most about him too is throughout this whole chaotic situation, he has remained so calm, so well spoken, and just going about business as usual. He is, yeah. I think that he seriously deserves consideration for MVP, and that would make 2 defensemen in the league at the top of my list, at least in the top 5. Because what Werenski's doing in Columbus, and they are not slowing down either. It's just remarkable, especially with the news that Monahan is now out for I think 6 to 8 weeks, which is absolutely devastating. But yes, Quinn Hughes has just been his season's been a masterpiece.
It's got to be a lot from, and you saw it when they did the what was the Amazon
Like the
Face
face off or
Off.
whatever.
Yeah, when they followed the guys around and like how like he's well read. He's reading all these books about leadership and taking that into his own craft. So you got to give him a lot of credit because the media up there and the way he's been handling it and being able to produce the way he is on the ice is very special.
There's Army generals who are probably like, I can't help you out, buddy. You're fucking in the shit right now.
David Goggins is like, no.
David Goggins is having a milkshake, just listening to the stories.
Stay on, motherfucker.
I can't do this anymore.
Stay on, Quinn. He's like, can you stop yelling at me, sir? I like to keep my heart rate down.
The news with Quinn Hughes doesn't stop there because that takes you back to Thursday night where I think it was Corey Perry's masterpiece. This game, first off, he's in warm-ups and the camera's in his face and he just gives the biggest smile, almost like, wait till you see what I'm going to do tonight. And he has the quotes prior to the game talking about the league doesn't protect its stars. It's got to protect its stars. Next thing you know, he's body slamming Quinn Hughes. And nobody does a thing. Elias Pettersson watches it and he's like, just reaching in. It's like, oh my God, your entire team is getting abused by 39-year-old Corey Perry, who the fact is is playing out of his mind this year. Like people were like, I don't know, do you re-sign him? Like, thank God they did.
$750.
Just causing an absolute shitstorm against the Canucks. And I mean, I also think people were like, he's asking for the Stars to get protected more, and then he's choke slamming one down. It's like, well, he said he wants penalties called on the Stars, and he got a penalty on that play.
Yeah.
So it's like, he's obviously still going to continue to try to abuse anyone he's playing against. Are you surprised by this?
And he's also got a leg to stand on too because he was a superstar.
Yeah.
I mean, not saying that he isn't anymore, but he was MVP. He was an absolute superstar in this league. But he also played with some jam too, so he was never getting taken advantage of, right? Like he wasn't diving around. Like
my year in
he was
Anaheim.
such a pain
talk
to against. So
talk
hard
about a
to play.
guy willing to transform his game in order to stick around.
Yeah.
Like he's he's not above doing anything for his team in order to win. It's very admirable.
He would
And
for sure play for free, 1,000%. He would play for free.
He might be like Gordie Howe, like the way that he stretches in his routine. And by the way, the way my back is, maybe I should text him and get to know what his routine is. The fact that he could still move around out there and perform the way he does, he could fucking play till he's 50 years old. He could be the modern day Gordie Howe.
I hope he does.
Imagining he's able to be a rat off the ice too. You text him and he can get a virus put in your phone immediately. He's like, this guy, he's relentless. But he's done a great job.
Oh no, another VD.
The Oilers waxed the Canucks in that game, but a big win for them against the Caps. And I guess finishing up on the Canucks, it's like, I know you said now Rantanen's move, we'll see more things happen possibly, but uncle. And you're like, all right, they're going to choose one, JT or Pettersson. No, they're shopping them both. It's just I think every fan of the Canucks just needs this to end with one of them being traded.
G has a question.
Just real quick, I mean, you just mentioned Sean Monahan getting hurt in the Columbus Blue Jackets. I think they are a very interesting team for JT Miller.
Wow.
They need help up the middle. They have
He's
they have
from
a ton
Ohio.
of money.
A team where he can get away.
Not a lot of media attention. They're on the rise. They could use some veteran leadership, I'm sure, in that locker room right now.
He's got a relationship with Rick Nash, played together in New York. That's a very, very.
I don't know where you're hearing that one, G, but also Buchagras tweeted something out about maybe them going after Brock Nelson as well. I mean, they have some young guys in the pipeline, maybe some assets they can move over to Long Island where his comments were the fan base deserves it. And they have all the rest of their team that are all in, and then all of a sudden you'd get Monahan back. I would really love to see Columbus do something. So great job, G. But before we move on from Edmonton, you have to answer for this. What the hell's going on with Nacho Gate? Why are fans throwing $25 nachos on the ice?
I have no idea, but I was watching the game and Perry opens up for one time. I'm like, what the hell is that? Dude, I think it was in the middle of his feet too. He somehow maneuvered around the nachos. If he had scored that goal and then reached down and dipped a nacho chip in cheese, I think it would have been an all-time NHL moment. Yeah. But Logan Thompson's flipping out about it. It's like, buddy, it hit your shoulder and went in. You got to stop the puck there.
Yeah.
I understand you're like, oh, there's nachos on the ice, which just sounds crazy to say. But yeah, I don't know how you're spending that much dough on nachos and then chucking them on the ice. The guy must have been pissed off about something. I'm assuming he got
got kicked out of the game. We'll see. Apparently, final news with the Pettersson situation is I guess Buffalo is very, very interested. G has here in the outline possibly maybe Cousins and Byram for Pettersson. I think that's just kind of maybe you reaching and thinking of possible deals. I don't know.
That would be such an incredible trade, I think, for Vancouver. I would make that trade in a second. I think that even just like Cousins and someone of Byram's status could get.
What about Power for Pettersson straight up?
Wow. Oh my God.
I would obviously rather Byram and Cousins as a package. Is that
for Vancouver? You're saying
for Vancouver, because Vancouver
100%.
Vancouver has to address their back end, but they also you would need a center. If they're still looking to compete, you would also need a centerman. So,
hey, by the way, like this was the house. That was the seat G was in when he said Monty was getting fired and Sacco was getting hired. He might have just called the fucking JT Miller to the Blue Jackets right there.
You think that's a possibility?
I don't know. Like I have a weird feeling that that's his seat.
That seat.
That's his seat, dude.
Yeah, GM seat.
That's his GM seat.
Yep.
He's back. Tony D'Angelo.
Oh, yeah.
Donald Trump gets elected, and Tony D's home from Russia. And who signs him? Lou Lamoriello. The left is furious, folks. Tony D's back in the game. He had a point per game with St. Petersburg. He can still produce in the NHL, and he's back. And it's. I'm very happy for him. Tony's a good guy. I got to know him at Kevin Hayes' wedding. The hatred for him online is like ridiculous, I think. You can hate whoever you want, but it's like all politically based, I believe. And he signed for $775 prorated for the remainder of the season. Like I said, he was in St. Petersburg, 32 points in 34 games. I think he came home because his grandma's sick, wants to be around his family a little bit. So thinking of him and his family. But the Islanders, I mean, they're truly like a pathetic team right now. I don't know what Lou's doing, but at least they're making a little news, trying to help out the PP, bringing a guy who can move the puck. But the biggest news for the Islanders, me this past week, was Matt Barzal, your star player. And I don't blame this guy one bit. I don't blame him one bit. Because the minute I went to that arena, UBS Arena, we did the FDNY NYPD game, and the game ended, and we tried getting home. I said, what the fuck were they thinking putting this arena here? It's in the middle of like 6 different highways. You can't get an Uber out of there. You walk about 700 yards to the Uber stand, and then you're waiting forever as they're sitting in Long Island traffic, and no fans are showing up. And the fans, they kind of turned a little bit pissed off when the news broke of what Barzal said. I'll get to in a minute. They're like, we'll start playing better and we'll fill the arena. He's sitting there looking, and I think they just tied it up or took the lead. And somebody caught on Twitter, he's sitting there talking to someone. He's like, this place is fucking empty. What a fucking joke. And then I saw the clip of it was like half empty, I think.
Oh yeah, it's been brutal.
And so they decided, and it's a nice arena. Like I liked
nice,
it. Like
25 bars in it. People can have access to booze.
DJ.
They have like a beer. What are they called?
Brewery?
Yeah, that's like almost like a brewery.
Yeah.
Like
Beer garden.
behind one of what?
Beer garden.
Beer garden. They have this huge beer garden behind one. I like the arena. It's just where it is. And the team is not exciting to watch, but it's like, oh boy, what are the Islanders doing? Like they got to start moving some pieces. If I'm a GM around there at his price tag, I'm calling nonstop about Barzal.
Yeah.
Nonstop. And then like somehow like just finagle away. Like I don't think they'll trade him, but man, you come out and you see this guy just being like, this is a fucking joke.
It would be cool to see him go back home to Vancouver. I wonder if that's something that could get fetched out. But I just think that they're wasting his prime. I can't stand the way they play. They're so fucking boring. You're just waiting and waiting and waiting for something to happen. It never does. It's not even like they fucking play tough either. It's just so vanilla. And listen, Lou's done so much in the game of hockey. He's a Hall of Famer. Like, how much longer do you think he's going to be at the throne there? Like, do you think this is just going to continue till
as long as they'll pay him?
Yeah, I think
I get it. If I'm him, I ain't going anywhere. Making big dough, running a team. It's like, I'm not going to quit. You're saying more like, when do you let go of them?
Yeah, and maybe make him like a consultant or something. I just like the direction of the team. I mean, it's been downhill ever since they went to the Eastern Conference Finals, where would they lose by a goal in Game 7 to Tampa Bay?
Yeah, and that was the Cup final that year,
right? And yeah, and it's been all downhill from there. So not to rag on the guy, but like he's got to get creative here and do something. He's got
Just get young. Just get young. Just try to start over a little bit. You got all these like 33-year-olds that awesome careers, these guys, but it's just like this isn't working for this team anymore. And the thing is, they like might sneak into the playoffs, but first round, it's going to be like, all right, that's a loss.
But if you go young, say they are doing rebuild, do you get rid of Barzal, your best player? Or is that a guy you keep
No,
around?
you don't.
Like,
I mean,
for me, it's more about it just doesn't seem like the way that he wants to play and his creativity is able to shine there. And I think it's being wasted. And if I were him, my frustration would continue to mount, where it's like, not only are we losing, not only is our building fucking empty, it's not exciting, our team shit. Like, I want to go have fun and play and be creative and use my speed. And I know he's a lot more of a passer than a shooter. Like, go get him with a fucking sniper. Go get him paired up, right? Get his dynamic duo going. So I just think, his prime's being wasted, and I would love to see him back in Vancouver, back on home soil.
In fairness, the Islanders are now 1 game over 500 for the first time since November 14th. So they're not like a bottom 5 team in the league. It's more just like, this is going to be the same the next 4 years, probably.
We're going to sound like a broken record, but that's not the only team in the East dealing with fan issues.
Biz.
The
library.
I've been saying this from the fucking mountaintops forever.
You have been.
Like,
you said this before it was even a thing.
I think Jason Demers hopped on it recently. There's this guy who goes viral all the time who actually got cock blocked by a beer brand for doing the Sellies at home. You'll probably have his name that you could pull up, but he's always got the Leafs jersey and gear on.
His basement's fucked.
His basement.
With the guy who wears a helmet and gloves in his basement?
Yeah. And he wore it to the game the other night.
He has like 500 jerseys in his basement.
He posted a video in the lower bowl trying to get everybody going, and they were just like, shut up.
Yeah.
And it's a snooze fest, and I don't think it's going to get any better. In fact, I think it's going to get worse. I was talking with my buddy Jeff Jacobson, and he's like, man, with the economy and everything, like, I think it's the only people who can show up to Leafs games right now are rich people to begin with. And given that the way Canada's going, it's going to get quieter and quieter. And Matthews was not happy. We should probably roll the quote of him talking about Ryan Reeves' first fight, trying to get that building and the team ignited. And then
with Olivier too, like another heavy.
And then
you think like New York, like the bottom row there is all suits. And it's loud.
It's loud.
Since when can rich people not scream and cheer? Like,
I don't know. I don't know if they got coke jaw and they just
out.
like can't open it and get loud enough. But
too stressed out.
Maybe they got L5S1 problems. Let's roll that clip from Austin Matthews, though.
You love to see that. Would have liked a little more energy, from the crowd after that. I thought, it was a little quiet tonight, especially after, a guy. 2 guys like that go at it, but it was, I think a great moment for him. Thought give us some energy on the bench, and obviously, he's been looking for one for a while, so you got to give kudos to the guy on the other side as well.
I mean, so there you have it. I think it's bullshit. A great scrap with Olivier, so shout out to Revo for finally getting his first one in, and talk about tough customers to break the ice with your first of the season.
Did Leafs fans, were they like upset by that? Were they like
Leafs fans?
Yeah, like upset by Matthews, or is it more
Probably
Leafs fans that are like,
half.
I know, we can't go to the game.
Yeah.
No, because
we saw them in Ottawa.
Bingo. I was just going to mention that. So then all the videos and pictures from Ottawa fans being like, this is bullshit, where Leafs fans, the hardcore ones, they travel, and for a flight, hotel, and tickets, it's cheaper than even getting in the lower bowl in Toronto. So all the hardcore, noisy ones, they go on the road. And they went to their Battle of Ontario mate in Ottawa and basically took over the other night on Saturday night. Ended up losing the game, I believe, 2-1. But nonetheless, like, there are hardcore Leafs fans. They've just been priced out. So all you suit fucks that won't take our advice, start giving up your tickets if you're going to bring no energy.
Well, my thing is, like, I went to a Heat game the other day, and I'm a Celtics fan. They were playing, I don't even know, San Antonio or something. Like, if you go to a sporting event, are you too cool to cheer? Like, I was up cheering, like, shit going on. Like, no one is, like, if you're going to a sporting event, you go to cheer on your team or boo the other team. Like, you got to be involved in it, be invested a little bit. It's not a work meeting.
I think so many of them are work meetings. I think Toronto, and I think a lot of arenas, like, it is, you're bringing clients, you have those tickets to bring clients, show them a great night, and you're sitting there talking. And yeah, I agree with you.
You're trying to close a deal. The guy throws some nachos on this. What the fuck? Like, oh, yeah, how'd the meeting go? The partner got kicked out for throwing nachos at Corey Perry.
Well, this guy, he brought me to the game, but he didn't cheer after Revo fought Olivier, so I left his company. Tough night for him.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess that didn't work out. But
Curtis from Alberta is the least.
Curtis from Alberta. I can't imagine, because Edmonton was nuts with Leafs fans. When you were on the Coyotes, it must have been full blown like.
Chicago and Detroit were probably the worst. Probably Chicago.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Especially Chicago.
Vancouver too was bad.
Yeah, or Calgary was pretty good, but it was just because there's a lot of transplants in Arizona from Chicago, and that was when they were going through their reign.
It was more Toronto when I was here in Florida that would travel down.
Yes, on the
staying in the East Coast.
side.
Yeah.
Marner and Joseph Woll, they were singing with Kygo on stage the other night. Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, it was interesting. And then I saw a clip of Nyes ripping it up at the club. He was dancing and singing to Tina Turner, I believe. Nice. What a player.
Well, they did a collab song, Kygo and Tina Turner.
Oh, that was the same night?
Yeah, Nyes was at the concert as well.
Oh,
he just didn't go on stage.
Okay,
yeah,
he didn't go on stage.
An
They're like,
unreal
I don't think
mashup tune with Tina. Love Tina.
You
know that Tina Turner didn't become famous and start touring and doing all that till she was about 50 years old?
Till she met Ike?
But it took her later in life. So it's just a little lesson for you people out there. It's never too late. It's never too late. It's never too late to get your back fixed.
Yeah, if you're 35 years old and you're like, I'm not crushing it in my industry yet, buddy. Most people don't start making big dough and really becoming titans in their workspace till they're 50, 60 years old.
Yeah.
Like, just take your time, be patient, put the hours in, stay on the grind. David Goggins can't even help the Canucks. Adam Fantilli scored a hat trick last week. He's like turning into a player, which I think everyone knew would happen. But we just want to shout out Columbus again, 7-2-1 in their last 10. The Washington Capitals had contract talks with goaltender Logan Thompson. Pierre LeBrun said this: the Capitals would like to sign Thompson before the Four Nations face-off if negotiations progress well. The tournament begins September.
Oh, geez. Oh, wow. Hey, Biz.
Breaking in the new
Biz,
tongue.
pump the brakes here,
That's
buddy.
me trying to read.
Do a little deep breathing.
The tournament begins February 12th in Montreal. What would the deal look like? No idea. For goalies now, I can't guess. I would want to give a goalie like $5 million a year. I swear to God, like I know like the best guys are making 9-10, but the position's bizarre. One year you're nasty, the next year you stink, besides like 4 guys. So I'm really not like that confident in Logan Thompson. All of a sudden, I'm giving him like 6 years times 6 a year.
I was literally just going to say, I would consider giving him with his athleticism if it were to command that. I think 6 times 6 would be a fair number.
He's pretty young too.
6 is a lot of years for a goalie.
Yeah, it's more the term that you worry about.
Yeah, and I guess you also, if you're the Washington kind of worry, you did give Darcy Kemper the 5 times 5.
27.
And that kind of backfired on him. So yeah, maybe they can kind of, maybe they could keep him under that $6 million number. But I mean, based on what he's done so far this year, his numbers suggest that he deserves a lot more than $5-6 million. So
was that him or Lindgren in Vancouver Saturday night? You see that save? They were pulling him. I think it was Lindgren. They were
Lindgren. It was Lindgren.
They were pulling him to get the extra guy on the ice, and he pulled back and just made a diving, unreal save. If he wasn't a silly sider, I don't know if he saves that.
Right.
Or I guess you could throw the blocker out, but it was pretty cool video.
I think based on what he's been through and moving around and what he went through with the trade from Vegas, I think that he would probably take a team friendly deal. I bet you he's just happy to be in the mix and being able to start a lot of games these days. So who knows?
I totally jinxed Team Sweden's goaltending situation when I mentioned last week that we really hadn't had like an injury. And I was actually more speaking of Team USA and Team Canada, but then boom, Team Sweden gets hit with a Four Nations guy getting injured. Jacob Markstrom's out for a little while for the Devils, so they're going to really rely on Jake Allen for a bit here, but that sucks for Marky. We had talked to him this year. He was so excited about the tournament. He would have been their starting goalie. And then also Ullmark, you don't want him going if you're Ottawa, right? So like I don't know what they're going to do with the goaltending situation there. The NHL is starting to think about life without Gary Bettman. The Athletics' Michael Russo and Chris Johnson had an article where they talk about basically that it's not imminent, but in the next few years, Gary Bettman will be taking a step back. Who should the next commissioner be? Do you guys have any?
I put my resume in.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's all about the clicks.
Say Bill Daly. right?
I don't think, from what I hear, he's not interested in that.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah, that's what I heard. That could be a rumor boys thing, but I mean, that would be the obvious choice. He's been, hand in hand with Gary for a long time, and I'm sure they share a lot of the same values and philosophies. And I mean, say what you want about Gary, there's definitely some things that he's missed on, but he's helped grow this league to a very healthy place, and he deserves to be commended for that. I just don't know enough about who they would want taken over. I mean, would Steve Mayer be a guy that does it? I know he's kind of more involved on the entertainment side of the NHL and how that's taken in.
That's a big thing for the league to make their money is, those TV deals and stuff like that is getting.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't know.
forget that Gary Bettman came. He was from the NBA.
Yeah.
So maybe they look
Understand.
outside the league and they look at somebody who's just crushing whatever they're doing and being a CEO or a president of another industry or something. I don't know. That is a good question.
My thought process would be that he would stick around to solidify all the next TV deals, and then he's done, because the Sportsnet deal is up at the end of next year. That really big one they signed. My guess would be is he's going to try to do it kind of like the American market, where you have ESPN carrying it, TNT carrying it, where I think that it would probably be Sportsnet, TSN, and maybe
Amazon.
And Amazon as players, where there's way more access. Because like you look at TSN, like they have an incredible panel and they have a lot of talented people, where they're not being able to get as much access to the games as Sportsnet is based on that deal. I think for the growth perspective of the game, to snap it around more to all the networks, including obviously Amazon, who's going to become an even bigger player. I think that's going to be his approach. That's going to be what he locks in, and then he's going to say, "Hey, see you later." Yeah. So I would assume probably 3 years from now.
3 years.
Yeah.
I think it's now time to throw to Pat Maroon. And guys, we've had Pat on this show, I think like 3 or 4 times, but the first time he ever came on with us, it was a joint interview with Cam Jansen. And then every other time he came on, it was like mid-bender after winning the cup 15 years in a row. This interview is unreal. Pat goes in to tell a story that I had never heard about his time with the Philadelphia Flyers organization and what happened to him there. This is a great interview and message to a lot of younger kids, and it was an awesome sit down a few weeks ago in Chicago. So we're going to send to him right now, and I highly recommend listening. Pat Maroon. Before we go any further, I want to talk about DraftKings. This ain't that little itty bitty teeny tiny bowl. This is the Super Bowl. Get in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 59. Scoring touchdowns is key to hoisting the Vince Lombardi trophy, and you have a shot to score big by betting on them at DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 place to bet touchdowns. Are you ready to place your first bet? Try betting on something simple like a player to score 6. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app and make your pick. And new DraftKings customers can bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. A $5 bet, all of a sudden, you got $200 you can bet on your favorite player to score a touchdown. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code Chiclets. That's code Chiclets, CHICLETS, for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. We are pleased now to be joined by a very good friend of the show, good friend of all of ours, and a new guy in the media landscape while playing.
I'll take my job.
The big rig, Patty Maroon. What's going on, buddy?
What's up, fellas? How are we?
Yeah, we're doing great, thanks. Thanks for swinging by. You got the Winter Classic coming up. We're in Chicago. But we were talking right beforehand that once a week you've been going on Morning Cup of Hockey with Colby Cohen and Johnny Lazarus. Have you enjoyed that? Kind of just chatting about the game and the league while still playing?
Yeah, I have. Honestly, it just gets away from the game a little bit. Just talk about the game, enjoy it. You get to watch more hockey like you guys. I mean, I haven't watched more hockey than I have this year, but
really?
Yeah, I tune in a lot because, I mean, obviously they're going to cue me up with something.
Yeah,
so
you don't want to sound stupid like me.
I don't want to sound stupid,
Yeah.
so
I should probably start watching more too.
I look at the Twitter feeds all the time, see what's going on around the league, but I really like it. I enjoy it, so maybe it's something I embrace after hockey.
Well, we were saying that you'd be perfect as a guy who, doesn't look like the Hawks are going to be in the playoffs this year, but like a guy who would hop on during the playoffs, TNT or ESPN or something. I think you'd be great at that.
Yeah, it was great. I just had a beer with Wayno over Christmas break.
Yeah, because he was in St. Louis. Yeah.
So
What was he doing there?
He lives there.
Yeah. He lives there part time.
He lives there part time.
Janet's mom
in the
lives there,
summertime, he lives there, and he goes back there for Christmas because Janet's mom's 103. So
Wow.
Still going.
Still going. It's awesome. So I got the chance to have a beer with him, and he was talking about it. So
what's great here is you're with your son, Anthony, right?
Yeah, Anthony.
So big kid. I last time I saw him, he was just tiny, but now he's turned into a really good player, drafted by the London Knights and playing for the Long Island Gulls.
Yeah.
That must be cool to watch.
Yeah, it's awesome. Obviously, watching him grow up, he just started loving the game though. Like literally, I would say 3 years ago, it just started taking off. He was just okay. Didn't really find a passion or love for it, and then all of a sudden something clicked. I don't know what happened, and he took off. In the last, I say, year and a half, he's been taking off with his game. So it's been fun to watch as a dad, to watch your kid succeed, and try to follow the little man's footsteps. But I always tell him it's hard, man. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
And it takes some luck too.
We just had Shane Pinto on, and he talked about how he wasn't really hockey obsessed until about 15. And then he obviously dove in hardcore. So it was nice. He got to be a kid, and where now he's a little bit more hyper focused on it. Obviously making a big commitment by moving away from home. And he's actually living with Josh Bailey on Long Island.
Yeah. So thanks to them, Meg and Josh Bailey have done a great job of taking him on, and he loves it. They have 3 kids. The 2 boys love having Anthony there. Shinny sticks all day.
Just cleaning up all the Kleenex and just
I walked in, I went to his house, and Meg's folding his clothes. I'm like, Aunt, you're 16. Like, come on, do your own laundry, man.
Oh yeah, you got to.
You got to.
He's handing her his dishes after he eats. You're like, what the fuck's Anthony?
Were you like that as a kid? Like or from when you started, you were full blown wanting to play in the NHL, or did it hit you at a later age?
No, he wanted to play roller hockey.
Oh,
He didn't even want to make it to the NHL.
If the roller hockey had a NHL league,
had the
I'd be
beach league.
McDavid.
Would you? So you're still going in the summers? You love it.
You don't see my highlight reels?
Well,
I see him on Instagram.
It's probably nice because it's a little bit different. You get to be a star there, and you keep up with the cardio, which is something you desperately need.
Yeah, I don't come off the ice. It's kind of nice.
Okay.
I play the whole game.
Okay, nice.
It's not like me and you when we're sucking up 4 or 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Fuck.
And you're freezing on the bench.
Yeah, I would have sucked a dick for 5 minutes. I was just lucky to get in the line. We were joking this morning. I had more healthy scratches in my career than games played.
That's crazy.
I know. It's nuts.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Well, at least your pension's looking nice.
Yeah, it didn't matter. The
No, it
checks are
didn't
still
matter.
clearing, so it was great. It was great.
But do you think playing roller hockey that had to make your hands so silky? Because you've always had great hands, just from all that stuff playing on the rollerblades growing up.
I think it helped me a lot. I mean, I fell in love with it right away. So my best friend, his dad owned a roller hockey rink in our neighborhood. So we went there. Now my uncle took it over.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's I played it since I was 4 years old. That's all I loved. And I hated ice hockey. I hated going to practice. I hated going to dry land. I was like, I just want to go play roller hockey and just have fun.
Yeah.
Like, screw all this commitment bullshit. So I just loved it. In the summertime, it was funny. Every day from Monday through Friday, I would go up there. My dad would give me $3 and I would stay from, 10 a.m. to 4. My dad would come pick me up. And I would just use those $3 for Cheetos and a soda. And just sit there and rink rat all day.
You get some electrolytes in you.
Would there be like you mentioned your best buddy, and then there's a bunch of other kids your age? You guys just play games every day.
We'd go up there, play 1-on-1, 2-on-2. It was fun. So that's how I got the liking of the game. And then when I made the AAA Blues, I got cut 3 times and then finally made it. And then Jeff Brown pulled me into his office. It's actually a good story. You guys know Jeff Brown, right?
Yeah.
So he pulled me in his office. He's like, yeah. He looked at my dad. He's like, your son's too slow to play forward, so I'm going to play him at D. So
you were a defenseman?
I was a
couldn't picture you as a
defenseman.
D man.
I can't even picture you skating backwards.
He couldn't. He couldn't.
It lasted a day.
You just let guy goes around you so you can pivot and skate forward after him.
He just wanted me to move the puck up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I played D all the way, like my Pee Wee year, all the way up to my major junior year.
So was he probably the biggest help for your development, Jeff Brown?
I would say him and Kelly Chase.
Chaser.
Yeah. Chaser's been like a second father.
Really?
He's been my go-to guy. He's the first one that saw me and believed in me and took a liking to me. And every time when our team moved to St. Louis for the Bandits, he would have, the Blues GM come watch or other players come watch. And what do you think of this kid? I think he's going to have something special in his game. And
no way.
And I would say he's probably the reason why I got drafted. He called Paul Holmgren and was like, you need to take this kid. And he's always been so close to me, and he's always believed in me, and he's always been there for me. So it's one of those things, like you guys said, you just need someone in your corner,
No doubt.
to like you or take a liking to you, to, you know, get you through that process and get you to that next step. And he was the only one that really, and Jeff Brown obviously was one of the reasons too, but Kelly's the one that, you know, threw his fucking body on the line.
Were you scrapping a lot back then? Like, were you playing that game? Because I thought you would have made the perfect flyer. I played against you when you were playing for the Phantoms, and you were yappy. You were a piece of shit to play against, and I was surprised that you never got called up there, where you ended up going over to Anaheim, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't know if you guys know that story about me getting sent home, but obviously it didn't end well in Philly. I got sent home, and
what?
I was on my couch for 3 months before I got traded to Syracuse, and I thought my career was over. I'd have my son Anthony's here now. I have not even a 2-year-old, and I'm fucking calling my dad. It's my 3rd year of my entry-level contract, so I'm like trying to go overseas.
That's crazy.
They wanted
Similar thing happened to me.
Yeah, during season. They wouldn't send me down to the coast. They wouldn't do anything with me. So
No shit.
I went to my agent at the time, Aline Waugh, said, go out east. So my mom's from New Jersey. So I went out to my aunt and uncle's house, and I just stayed there, and I was skating with Montclair State.
No way.
Partying up with them.
Buddy,
in their dorm, sleeping in their dorm rooms.
That's
like,
crazy.
I thought my career was over. I was like, this sucks. I'm calling my dad. I was like, I'm coming home. Like, this
Do you
sucks.
not want to
Buddy,
say what happened?
The 3rd year of my entry level is when I got sent
Yeah, but
home
that
from-
wasn't mid-season. That was at camp, right?
Yeah, it was at camp, and I ended up going to skate at what was it, Western?
7 for 7.
Yeah, we're not going there. It was during Frost Week, so it was the perfect week to go over to University Town. But
yeah.
but so like you just went skated there, try to stay in shape. Obviously, you're probably having a little bit of fun too. What was the reason that you guys had the falling out?
There was this one, we had a dry land, and this is the only time I ever been late in my career. And I was barely late. I was a fucking half a second late. And my roommate at the time, Ryan Dingle, which I'm fucking still mad about it. We went out the night before. He doesn't wake me up before he leaves.
Oh, that's bullshit.
So love him. Great roommate, great guy. But I'm like, God damn it. Why didn't you just wake me up? So they rush my gets to the dry land. I show up. I'm late. I'm still a young kid. So, you know, the Flyers organization, it's old school mind.
Yes.
Like, they didn't like that. And it just, whatever. The falling out there, me and Greg Gilbert, the head coach, really didn't get along that well. And listen, I was a punk. Like, I was seeing other kids getting called up. I didn't know. Like, you don't learn until like you're truly get to that next level to be a veteran, how to be a pro and how to be a good teammate. And I saw their side of it. And then another incident with, we go up, we had to do a power skating, and I was like, this is fucking bullshit.
You're
Like,
like, I wear my rollerblades?
why am I coming in here at 7 a.m.? Like, why isn't anyone else coming in? Like, it was just felt like punishment a little bit, and I was taking it the wrong way. It was just like them trying to help me a little bit, and I still remember to this day. I mean, there's more to the story, which is off topic, but there's I go get called in. We bust into Bridgeport, and we get in at fucking 4 a.m. Me and Andres Noel are the only two that says on the board. We go put her, you know how you bring your gear in, hang it up, your shit off. 7 a.m. Pat Maroon and Andres Noel will come to the rink. We come in, we ride the bike, and then we just go on the ice, and they're just fucking skating us laps.
No
and
pucks.
Laps, no pucks. And finally, I just snapped. I'll just tell you a story since morning. And I shot a puck.
At the coach?
In the vicinity.
In the air. Yeah.
And I think
That's assault, brother.
I think that was the last straw.
But this was also the year after you had 75 points in the AHL, right?
No. Well, after?
Yeah. Had you lit up? The 1 year you had in the AHL was insane. Was this before or after that?
After that.
So you're already like, why? Yeah, you're
But I had 9 goals in 9 games that year in October, and then I got sent home.
So, and then you're seeing these other guys get called up. And
yeah.
We've all been there, as like you said, these young punks, and we think, it's our turn, and maybe they didn't like the attitude at that point. So just the constant butting heads, and then that boiled over, and then all of a sudden you're fucking
and then we had practice the next morning, and the video coach was like, hey, GM's on the phone. I was like, I'm getting called up. This is great.
Nope.
You going to Montclair State?
I'm going to my.
And who was the GM then?
Paul Holmgren.
And he just said, "Go home."
He said, "You'll never wear a Flyers uniform ever again."
What?
That's
Holy
a panic, dude.
Yeah, it was.
scary
It was
guy.
Did your heart drop?
Yeah, I was embarrassed. I was more embarrassed, man, because I was a father to Anthony. I was just embarrassing him. Everything I worked for, you know, I wanted him to have a great life, and it's just like I embarrassed my mom and dad. Like that's not how they raised me. So it was tough for me in the beginning, but it was good. John Paddock called me because he was my coach my first year in the American. He was like, "Hey, man, keep your head up. We'll sort this thing out." Obviously, 2 months later, I get traded in December to Syracuse. But man, I wish in time now I can take back what happened because I'm embarrassed. That's not how I want my career to be.
Yeah, but you know
looked
what's cool from that is like there's a lot of kids who don't learn from it, and you did. Like you realized I fucked up, and then look at what's happened since. So it's pretty sweet to see. But I guess when you got to Syracuse, did you look at it like, hey, I fucked up, like I'm gonna be a different person and a different player now? Like, did you know, like going in there, like this is kind of the last chance?
Yeah, this is my last straw. Like I had to go in there, and it was funny. This is actually, we go in. Mark Hollick was the coach. I sent his office. I don't know what you did, but we just traded for Trevor. We just traded Trevor Smith back the other way. He was our best forward.
Oh no pressure.
And that was it. And now you go, all right, thanks.
Well, at least you know that means I'm gonna play.
Yeah, I mean, it worked out well. But like you said, like when I got there, I was like, fuck, man, this is it for me. Like, because your entry level contract, they might not qualify you. So like
that's what I was worried about.
Yeah,
and then other teams maybe hear about the attitude problem or you being a punk, and they're like, well, we have enough draft picks and other guys. And at that point, I hadn't really accomplished anything, even in the American Hockey League, not even close to the amount I was basically playing in the coast.
Wait, that year you got sent home was also your contract year?
It was
the end of your entry level?
the third year of my entry level, and I
God.
went from being sent home to all of a sudden halfway through the year, I'm now playing forward, a completely different position I'd never played before, and fighting. And they were calling me, like Todd Richards was the head coach. They were calling me Biz Richards because all of a sudden the head coach then loved me. So it was a complete 180. And like you said, like something and an experience like that will definitely like make you learn. I mean, you look forward here though, Patty. I think we were just checking it out before you came in. I think over 160 playoff games. You had 98 in a 4-year span when you won 3 Stanley Cups. So what a fucking whirlwind from that moment there, looking to what you've accomplished now.
Yeah, I mean, it's been nuts. And like, listen, we all want to play in the NHL. We all want to fucking, but we don't realize how good it is when you're in the American League and you're still grinding it out and you're enjoying the bus rides, because those are the fucking dog days.
Yeah.
Those are the days you have to sacrifice and fucking put your head down and just fucking work hard, be a good teammate. And that was the thing. You get a little taste of it. You get a little taste of getting points, and then all of a sudden you see other guys. We don't realize, like, now it's like game has changed. Like when Trent Yanni took over for me, and that was a year I had 79 points in the American League. He's like, hey man, like if you want to play in the NHL, you got to start fighting. He's like,
because you're not gonna be able to do this at the next level. What you're doing here.
And I just started fighting the American League, and then Bob Murray took a liking to it and called me up. So Trent Yanni has a big role into that too. Like, he was just always had my back. He believed in me, and like he's like, just start fighting, man. Show toughness and fight. So I had 162 PIMs that year, then 70 on with my points, and
those are some hard bus rides though, like learning the hard way, because there were some tough guys in the American Hockey League. And at the time in Syracuse, did they still have the Zenon Konopkas and the Derek Dors?
No, we had Marasti.
Okay, no, John Nasty.
We had Nasty.
So was he helping you out learning the ropes and how to grapple?
Great. Yeah. But I'm still a terrible fighter.
Same. I was brutal. Just did it to survive.
I just fucking eat punches. Just eat
You're
them.
willing to do it though, which is fucking half the battle.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's the thing. You got to take a liking to it, because when I think now, we were just talking before we were on air, the game has changed. Like, no one wants to adapt to the NHL anymore. Like, these kids want to get up and they want to fucking go right away and like be first line. Like, eat your 8 minutes right now. You'll get rewarded.
Look at Marchand.
Like, you'll get rewarded. You'll get rewarded. And it just fucking drives me nuts now that like no one wants to do that. And it honestly pisses me off, because like you can make such a good living if you just eat your minutes now and fucking sacrifice just fucking half of it.
Well, then the team staff loves you even more. They're like, this kid just grinded. The management's like, this kid's a beast. Like, he's not whining, he's not complaining. It makes them want you to be even better and better. Like, they're looking for you to take a bigger step, because of how you've approached being a third and fourth liner.
100%. And the game's not tough anymore. So like, just go run around and
I
fucking.
know.
Who cares? Like,
It
you're
is
not gonna get
easier said
hurt.
than done, though. Like
It is easier said than done. I agree with you.
because it's so easy to sit back being retired and be like, why doesn't this guy just go fucking start running people? But I never did it, and there were plenty of coaches that told me to do it. It's a lot harder than it looks. But I'm looking right now. So that year when you got to Syracuse, you lit it up. You actually played unbelievable. But then the next 2 years, it was AHL all those years too. Like, you still probably had a little bit of like 2 years later, like, I don't know if I'm ever going to make it. And you were producing.
Yeah. I mean, it was tough, but like you said, like I said before, and like you guys, sometimes you just got to fucking, your time will come, right? You don't know when, but I ended up playing 2 games. So I got a taste of it that 1 year at 79. So that was fun to get a taste of it. And like, you know, and my dad always said when I left the game against Chicago, he's like, no one's ever going to take that game away from you. So he's like, just embrace that moment. He's like, you did what you had to do to get here. Look where you came from. He's like, if you don't play another game, you can say you played 1 game.
How has it been for you, like evolving now as basically like a mentor? Like, I know you're on the back 9, and that's not an insult. It's been a hell of a ride.
No,
like,
I am on the back 9.
You might be on 17, 18 right now. You might be on 19, actually.
I might be on the extra hole right now.
Playoff
putt machine with the clowns. You have to put it in
You're
the
back
nose.
in Montclair State.
But I mean, hey, you're still getting still riding on the private jet. Still
I need the clown to yell at me.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Just put it in his nose. Fuck you, I'm not done yet.
Fuck you, clown.
But I mean, you're a mentor now, so is a lot of it communicating to these younger players and helping them evolve in their careers, as well as protecting them?
Yeah, for sure. I think the biggest part for me is just showing my leadership and, you know, playing the right way and, you know, making sure, like, if a young guy gets called up, he's on my line. Hey, listen, this is your job. If you stay, just fucking don't pout. And we'll get our minutes. If we play well, we'll get our minutes, but just do our job. Get pucks in, work hard, win our puck battles. Don't get scored on. Little things that, like, you know, on the fourth line. If you get scored on, you're fucking
done. That's it.
You're painted.
Yeah.
And I just got to, you know, try to resonate with them because I know they want to go out there and produce and do all those things. But I say, if you play the right way and work hard, we'll produce. But you got to have patience. And I think that's the biggest thing. You got to have patience in this game, and especially for young kids. Like right now, I have this Lucas Reichel. He's going to be a stud. He's been on my line all year, and he's been adapting so well. That's been fun to see because
His attitude's good.
His attitude's great. He loves it.
That's why you invited him over for Christmas?
I did invite him over.
That was cool.
You know, he's a good kid. You know, he's German. He was on Christmas by himself. So I just said, hey, why don't you just come to Christmas with me and, you know, enjoy it and, you know, get away from Chicago, get away from the game. Because listen, like I said, like he wants to play. He wants to be on the top line, but he's been playing so good right now for us. And he's been good in his role. Now he's getting PK time. Now he's getting power play time. So now things are starting to roll for him. So he's still on the fourth line, but still he's getting more touches and more looks, and his game is just involved over the course of 35 games. So it's been fun to watch, and I really enjoyed it. And I really enjoy, you know, if a kid gets called up for my line, he's doing something well, and it makes you feel happy because like you want to see them, you know, succeed. So I just enjoy doing it now, and you know, my role has taken a dramatic turn, but you know, you got to stay in the game somehow. And I think
got to evolve.
Yeah. You got to be leadership and, you know, be present in some way and help these guys.
And who were the guys for you that, because I feel like if you're a guy doing that for the young guys, somebody did it for you, because it's usually the guys who get treated like shit, treat the younger guys like shit. So I would imagine that there's someone who helped you out.
Yeah. I mean, Getsy and Perry were awesome for me. And Teemu.
How was Saku?
Teemu was great. Saki was great.
Yeah.
Cogs was awesome for me. Even Sheldon Surrey was awesome. Like getting an opportunity to play with those guys. But even in Anaheim, like when I first got called up, I was playing up and down. I was on fourth line, first line, and those guys just helped me so much. And like just to put your head down and just work, like, and I just always learned from those guys. And like Teemu being so nice to me. Like I was driving a Kia. And he comes in with a Dodge Ram, brand new fast Dodge Ram. I think was a SVT or something, one of those fast ones. And
you had 20 cars.
And he just brought it in. He's like, I didn't even tell me he was doing it. He's like, hey, here's the keys. Get rid of that Kia. And it's stuff like that just, people that go out of their way to help you. And Teemu all the time would invite me out to dinner on the road. And, you just learn stuff from guys like that appreciate the young guys. And I think that's the biggest thing. You want to make the young guys feel comfortable and make sure they can come in and say good morning to you, Like you said, there's fucking dicks out there that don't even say hi to you in the morning. These young guys are just like petrified. So I just think, learning from those guys have made me evaluate myself in a way where I need to do that myself. So and it's been fun for me to do it because I enjoy it and I embrace it a lot.
And it's cool to see like how much it means to the guys. Like it's like nothing for you, but then you see like it makes a guy feel that much better who might be a little uncomfortable or young and not confident. It's like, oh, I can make a difference in this kid's life the way Teemu did to me.
Yeah, 100%. And I think swagger too. You come into the rink, you feel a little more confident as a younger guy. And I think if you have swagger in the room, you're gonna have swagger on the ice. I think if young guys have swagger in the room and have confidence and like have that mentality, like, all right, like and I make them feel comfortable and confident. I think that translates on the ice, and I think that's a huge thing.
This is your 8th team. That's not a chirp either. Suitcase. 9th. Oh, 9. I'm sorry. Well, if you, I meant NHL team.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Is this your first experience with a first overall pick and a phenom like Bedard, or had you?
McDavid.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so you went through it before.
I had 27.
Not a big deal, right? Not
27
backdoor tap ins.
How's it been with him?
It's been good. Listen, it's hard for these young guys. It's hard for these young guys to come in, but it's been fun to watch Connor and play his game and his skill and his vision, his work ethic, and everything he has that comes with him. Everything you see is pretty advertised on him, so it's been fun. Obviously, he's been teeter-totting a little bit this year, but I think he'll find his way. This league's hard, and I think he's got to realize that it's a hard league, and he matches up against every top line and every top D pairing. So it just gets harder and harder for these guys. So, but he's going to be a hell of a player in this league, and I can't wait. And these are the times where you see like these players that hit it into how they come out of it, right? And he's been doing a good job of handling himself this year. Because listen, I'm sure he wants to be scoring at will right now, but like I said, he's still 19 years old. He's still
you go from like every shift in junior to just like dominating pucks on your stick, and then all of a sudden, like you said, you're just going against these guys night in, night out. There's no escaping it.
No.
No insult to the Chicago Blackhawks, but you guys don't necessarily have the depth where he can escape it, right? So he has to be taking those reps, and it's hard, man. These guys are heavy, especially in the Western Conference.
They're
and they lean
stronger,
on
they're
you.
heavy.
Oh.
Yeah. So, but man, he's going to be a hell of a player. Listen, like obviously our year's been our year right now, but it's hard. Losing hockey sucks, right? And it can probably weigh on some players and can probably weigh on him too. Like, he's a competitor just like all of us, and he wants to win hockey games. He wants to be the guy that, wins it in overtime or wins that next play or, steals a hockey game for us, right? So, he's just getting better and better, but he's handled it so well this year, and he's going to be a hell of a player, man. I can't wait to see him evolve, as a player.
You brought up that year with Edmonton, 27 goals.
You brought it.
That's how good McDavid is. Was there ever a chance that you
playing with an anchor?
Like, were you ever offered a contract with them? Like, how did you end up being traded to Jersey? I believe from Edmonton.
I did.
Yeah, so you were offered a contract,
Yeah.
turned it down.
No, I wouldn't say I turned it down, but me and my agent had talks, and he's like, keep playing, keep finishing out the year. It was the year after the 27, so my last year of my deal. So he's like, just finish it out. And I knew where I was at, like with Connor and Leon and playing with those guys. Like, listen, like it's obviously fun. They can fucking turn shit into something, right? So, and I wanted to stay. I did. And it just didn't work out.
Was there a number that was offered to you?
Yeah, 3.5.
3.5 for how many years?
3 years.
But yeah, just over 10.
I'd be richer.
Yeah. Okay.
But I
you
want
maybe not the cups.
Have 3 cups.
Maybe not the cups.
No. But listen, me and my agent talked about it. I love Al. He's the best. Obviously, I'm not with him anymore, but I knew where my number was at, and he thought my number was higher. And maybe we didn't agree on it. We disagreed, and I disagreed with him on certain things, and but you know, it just didn't end up working out, and I ended up firing him during free agency because you know
Nothing
I hired
was
I hired my new agent, and I guess they were asking for a high number, and I knew where I was at. Like I knew I was like a 2 to 2.5 to maybe a $3 million player at that time, but I also have to consider it where I was, who I was playing with.
Right.
So you can't really justify of like, maybe if I was playing with someone different, I wouldn't have those numbers, right? So
Right.
I think I was in the back of my mind, like, I don't want to get overpaid and then go somewhere and then get shit on, right? So I wanted to be in the high 2s, low 3s maybe, but listen, it didn't work out at the end of the day.
I just got to ask. So, like, then you go into that free agency, and then like the number that was originally offered doesn't come up. Like from a personal standpoint, like did that affect you? Like, was there any like depression that came with
I
that?
thought I was over because I was getting nothing.
Into August?
No, it was late. I was like 8 days after free agency. I didn't have nothing. I ended up firing my agent. And then he started working the phones, and then we got to a number, and then we started getting offers. Like New Jersey, $3 million, Arizona, 2 years times 278, and then St. Louis was 175, and then I think Philly came in at a 1-year deal. But I didn't really have a long-term deal. It was just more like, and I thought I was going to AZ, to be honest with you. I thought that was the spot. But I honestly, St. Louis, my son lives there. I'm from there. I haven't been with my son for a full year, and fuck, I don't even know how long. So at that time.
So you signed that deal like right away. Can you change the mindset, or is it maybe something that lingered with you like into that season, or were you just happy to be home, happy to be playing on a winning team? And then obviously what happened where you go on to win 3 Stanley Cups, and you know, you say that, you know, it was your fate. But like, how long did it take you to finally just like let it go and get over it?
Well, my mentality was going to St. Louis, and because I had to meet an Army, he had all the lines out for me, and like where he had me, you know, and pegged in, and that year was supposed to be okay. Let's have another good year, and then get your big deal. That was supposed to be like my mentality, and then our team sucked, and I sucked, and everything kind of fell because I didn't have a goal until January.
Oh my God, dude. You're like, I'm really done.
We're
in last place, and I stink. Dude, that, like, we talked about the fight, and we've had you on and chatted about this. It's been so long, but Sanford and who was it? Bertuzzo.
Yeah.
And that the way that all switched around that quick, and Berube comes in, like, did you guys, you knew you weren't a last place team, but did you know like it would happen that fast, that quick, and get rolling the way it did once you started winning a couple? Like, what was the locker room like at the beginning and then towards the middle?
We knew what Chief was like. We knew what Otter was like. Like, those guys would come in the sauna with us, and fucking Chief would be riding the bike.
Little
and
cock talk.
Yeah. Little cock talk, yeah. What'd you just say? Cock talk?
Yeah, cock talk.
Well, you didn't say it like that.
No, cock talk. Yeah, I said.
You mumbled it.
Cock.
Yeah,
Cack tack.
Yeah, well, I kind of try to say it under my breath like nobody would hear it, but I'm speaking right into it. Like, I would imagine Chief's got an absolute weapon on him too.
But like, he came in and ripped the standings off the boards, and he was like, listen, if you don't work hard for me, you're sitting. And that was the mentality. He's like, we're going to play the right way, and this is how we're going to play. And if you don't play like that, then I don't give a shit. Like, you're out of the lineup. And he had that mentality. He wanted edge. He wanted edge to our game. He wanted fucking toughness. He wanted sandpaper hockey, grind teams down low, play heavy down low. And it was just like, fucking go, 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 right? And people taking a liking to that. And when I love Zach, I love Bortz, but that was fucking awesome. Like, we needed that. A little shake up, a little fight. And like, they were friends right after that. But I think Zach got a conky after that. I want to say
it led into the parade.
Still puking at the parade
in the back, yeah, the back seat of the car.
Of the driver.
Oh yeah, he was so good. Oh yeah, you got the sun beating down on him at the end of the parade.
Well, that was, you know, that's, you know, those are the stories you talk about because, you know, Zach went through a tough time. You know, he lost his dad, and you know, he scores the Stanley Cup. He scores a goal in the Stanley Cup Finals in Game 7 in his hometown.
Boston,
like, all that stuff leading up to it gives me chills because, like, you know, obviously that fight, you can say it was a turning point, but like all that stuff leading up to it, and then seeing that, like, Otter was crying on the bench, dude. Like, it hit. Like, that's real stuff. Like, that's emotion. Like, that's like fucking what you think about as a kid. And, you know, to not have his father there to witness it and to him do that and host the Stanley Cup in his hometown in a team that's probably he grew up watching. Like, you can't make that shit up. Like, that's like the stuff you fucking dream of.
Movie
and like,
shit, yeah.
that's, for me, it's just like that turning point, and then him doing that was just like fucking awesome.
And you can't make up that, like, hometown kid from St. Louis playing for the Blues, that double overtime game winner in the second round of Game 7, I think, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God! Like, thinking back to that game, did they have any like great chances that Bennington made a save?
Oh,
in the first
yeah,
or
I think
second
there
round?
was a- Jamie Benn had a
wraparound, and Jaden Schwartz fucking buried him.
rolled off
my
his twig.
God.
Yeah, it was crazy. I
It
couldn't
almost
believe
went
it.
in. It just stayed underneath his toe. It almost creeped in.
It's crazy. I couldn't believe it.
But after that game,
What about Cogs? Cogs had a 2-on-1. If went on an edge, he missed the net completely. The net was wide open
in the first overtime?
In the first overtime.
Holy shit.
And then you guys score right off the face-off. Wasn't it an offensive zone face-off play?
Off the face-off.
Who's your line for that run?
Thomas and Bozak.
Thomas was what, a rookie?
Yeah. He was good.
He was good right away.
He was good.
He's a sick
And
player.
Bozak's great. Just a savvy vet.
Remember
Wins
last year,
face-off.
Kevin Hayes was like, Robert Thomas is so nasty. He's
He's
like, I don't
so
know if you
good.
watch us play that much. This guy's insane.
He's so good.
He's a bit of a
so
throwback, too. He's got
Yeah,
the
he-
big sausage fingers, too. Huge paws on him.
legs are huge.
Old school, loves his beers.
Oh, yeah. Throws both ways. I saw him at the Calgary Stampede. He was with Chucky, and just like, you could just tell he's as young as he is, he seemed like a wily veteran. I mean, we've already like touched on your time in Tampa, but just getting to play with a guy like Kucherov and the fact that he's doing it year in, year out, too, like, what a sick puppy that guy is. He's an assassin.
I mean, he only takes 2 weeks off after the season. He gets right back on the ice.
Really?
Wow. I skate with him in the summer. I mean, I'm there. It's just only me, him, and Killorn. And dude,
That's quite the group.
Yeah.
Were you passing pucks?
Yeah. No, that's what we do. We pass pucks.
He's telling you what to do, where to stand.
No, I call him he's like a coach. Like, I've learned so much from him over the past like few years. Man, he's the best player I've ever seen pick up a puck on the wall.
It's insane.
I've never
On his backhand too.
So he does a drill where you rim it around 100 times, picks it up, sauce pass over. It could be a net or it could be anything. It's like in his power play spot, he'll rim it around, pick it up, turn around, make a pass. Like, everything's a rim, and the way he picks it up and his edge work and everything he does, it's just like, it's crazy to me, like how he sees the game and like how he visualizes everything, detail to detail, breaks down every game, every position he's going to be in. That's what he does. That's how he works on his craft. And it's like, for me, it's fun to watch because I get to bring Anthony out there, and he
Oh
pulls
my God.
Anthony aside and like teaches him. So it's really cool for me to have that experience for him to see, how he sees the game. And man, it's impressive, man. Like, I've never seen anyone like that before.
Just like the work ethic and the time he's putting in. Is it off ice too, as far as like in the gym as well?
I think he does. I mean,
but more so
doesn't
the
need
on
to,
the ice
yeah.
stuff where
it's
like
more,
the reps.
yeah. So he'll go from like 10 to 12, 2 hours a day on the ice.
On the ice.
And he'll skate by himself too.
He'll
right?
skate by himself too.
So he loves the game.
Yeah,
it's like-
he'll have like the trainer come out and pass pucks to him, and that's where he puts his nets out, and that's he visualizes everything, and he passes pucks to the net. Like, he goes to every spot where he's gonna be, and like, but the rims, the way he picks up, the way he turns on pucks, the way he sees it.
his edges are insane.
Yeah, there's
His
no
skating.
wasted motions.
No.
So on the wall, is it just how he angles his stick? So when it hits the toe of the stick, it's going to bounce a certain way?
Yeah, so there's a lot of spin on the puck, he was saying. So every time he picks it up, it's a stick handle and then a pass. So it's
To
weird.
settle it down.
So when he picks it up, he makes the puck turn to where he's going.
Yeah.
Holy
You're like, I'm just
fuck.
trying to make my body
I have a
turn to
headache
which
thinking
way I
about
want to
it.
go.
Yeah. So he like picks it up on if it's his toe, he'll scoop it and he'll angle it to where his feet, his position of his body, where it's going to go.
It's kind of like when a soccer player kicks it cross field and the way they're able to like hit it with their foot and then it just like dies there.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, when they're accepting a kick.
Yeah, he knows where the spin's going.
Yeah,
where
he
to
knows
hit it
where
off.
everything's going.
Since you're getting into the media side, what did you make of the whole Stamkos thing? And do you think that they maybe should have brought him back? Do you think they lowballed them? Like, little bit of disrespect shown in the way they handle the situation? Like, how do you view all that?
I mean, I think you have to bring a franchise player back. You have to make it work. I don't know. Obviously, I have a good relationship with Coop and Julian, but to me, at the end of the day, a player like that, a captain, a guy that's been there, won 2 Stanley Cups for you, has every record in the organization. Like, you have to bring a guy like that back. I just didn't see why it didn't happen. It's unfortunate because, like, to me, I think a lot of those guys in that locker room wanted him back. And it seemed like they wanted to go a different route, which to me, I didn't like that. But, just being there in Tampa, you can see, guys got really pissed off about it. So it's unfortunate because obviously it's so weird seeing Stammer in Nashville.
It just like feels like it's not right. I almost want to see him go back.
Yeah, me too.
Well, they realized quick they needed McDonough back.
Yeah,
it's wild.
It's like Shane Doan when he was getting fucked around in Arizona. I remember, like, there's certain guys in the league that have done so much for organizations. Like, if he wanted to go play goalie for a year, they should have fucking let him. You know what I mean? Like,
they screwed around with him there.
Buddy, they had John Chaika meet him at the fucking 38 degrees or whatever the breakfast place is there.
Great spot.
To basically unreal. At least they got him a nice breakfast on the way out.
Yeah. Fresh squeezed OJ.
And they basically were like, "Yeah, we're good. Thank you for everything you've done for the." Imagine having a new GM. Like, I think he was
like 38,
30 years old. Yeah,
and they were like, "We're done."
And then that was it. That was how his career with the Coyotes ended. Unbelievable. I couldn't believe it.
I forgot that.
It was fucking disgusting.
It's disgusting.
At a breakfast joint.
Joint.
Eggs
After everything he'd done.
It's like Jerry Maguire when he brings him to a populated restaurant, so you can't flip out when Bob Sugar gasses him.
That's probably what he was thinking, because I couldn't only imagine the restraint on Donor in having put that much time and effort, but also taking team-friendly deals. Like, they didn't have a lot of money there.
Right.
Like, the league owned the team. I think at that point it had been bought, but it just like didn't sit right with a lot of people, as you mentioned, in the locker room.
It didn't at all. And the city.
Yeah.
Right? Fuck.
One of your 15 stops was Minnesota, you suitcase. But you got to see Kaprizov. Another
Halsey was just talking about him.
He says he's just a machine. And you talk about the details to Kucherov's game, the same thing with Kaprizov.
Yeah, I would say it's the same. They're different styles of players, I feel like. I don't know if they're like the same style, but Kaprizov is the way he fucking 10-2s it, and the way he gets around the puck and skates, the motion he gets in the offensive zone. But he sees the game so fucking well, man. Like, he like does that one-touch pass off the rush. Like, it's the little things that he does. I mean, he's fun to watch. I mean, it's different though, because I feel like Cooch is more of a glider, like smooth, sees it
effortless.
Kaprizov's more of a bull.
Like, he fucking engages and fucking finds places, but when he gets zipping around that ozone, dude, it's fucking sickening.
Yeah, the tornado. The Tasmanian devil.
And you got Zuccarello just sitting in the corner. He zips it across.
Sticks 5 feet
and then,
long.
And then Zook zips it right back. I mean, but his 10-2 and the way he can get around guys and the way he can fucking create offense for himself, like, it's impressive. Like, the one-on-ones, like, if he goes one-on-one, there's no doubt he's either getting a shot or he's scoring. So I think the way he does that stuff is pretty unique.
Faber had a legendary rookie year. Like, just for you, like, wow, like, I can't believe how good this kid is this early, this young.
He's a stud.
Yeah.
The way he can skate.
So that's what everyone mentions when they talk about him, is his skating, where he's got the big legs and it's just like, you hear it like cutting into the ice.
He's a machine, dude. I don't even think he gets tired.
Really?
Wow.
He's a machine. I mean, his goal last night was nasty.
Yeah.
But he's just the way he defends, the way he plays hard too.
Not that big either.
He's not
right?
that big, but the way he defends, like, one-on-one, he's always in your face. Like, you can never get through him. He breaks up plays all the time. Like, and he can just jump up in the play. It's like so effortless for him. That four-man rush. I mean, he's up there nonstop, and they just create so much offense like that. But I mean, he wasn't even on the power play for us last year until the end of the year.
I know. And he was playing 26 minutes.
He's playing 26 minutes.
Did Flower ever prank you?
Someone was pranking me last year. I just didn't.
For sure.
Never found out.
Never found out.
Sure. What were they doing?
Dude, they would take my laces out of my shoes every day.
As a 3-time cup champ, that's when you start overreacting.
Yeah,
You're
bullshit.
like, boys.
No respect.
And then they would
wearing Velcro shoes.
And then they would relace them and put the
upside down.
upside down
That's
on the
bullshit.
bottom.
Kind of cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pisses me off.
Yeah.
It could be Zook. How funny is Zook when he
Zook's
imitates
hilarious.
people? Like he
Oh,
doesn't get
dude.
talked about as a funny
He
guy.
imitates guys like voices.
skating around, their voices, their mannerisms. He's so fucking funny, man.
The best.
It could have been him too. I didn't know who it was, to be honest with you.
Zook would be a guy that would do it and not tell anyone, and it would just everyone's like, "Who the fuck is doing this?" And he's just like,
Honestly, I
to
didn't have
himself.
patience. I have a bad back, so I was like, "Fuck it, I'll just slip my shoes on."
Yeah.
I'll just buy new ones.
But the problem is, I'd bring a new pair of shoes home, and they'd fucking do the same fucking thing. And I'm
great.
like, "Fuck off."
You're too old, dude, to be
Yeah.
getting pranked like that.
Yeah.
But you got moved over to Boston, got to experience a Maple Leafs Bruins first round.
Oh God.
I mean, that had to be great. It was a panic for a little bit there. But what'd you think of that series and how intense that was?
Yeah, it was great. Dude, just playing for Boston's unbelievable.
You loved it?
Oh, I loved it. Just the fans, the fucking city's great. Actually, people are actually friendly in Boston. I was kind of shocked. But you know, the organization as a whole is great. The players, you can see why they're fucking where they're at. You know, all those Stanley Cup appearances, their veteran leadership, and how they handle themselves. But to witness, you know, it's funny because like all those guys are like, "Oh, we want Toronto. They never beat us," and they
We own Toronto.
Yeah, and like everyone was so confident in that room, like we're not losing this game. Like game 7, there's no way we're losing. Everyone's just like, "Fuck, we're not losing."
How you feel, Biz?
I just think like
says
nice
this is
to
the
know
year.
before I
This is-
bet
like
it.
Jake DeBrusk was he was like, "I own Toronto.
That's so fucking great.
I own Toronto," and he was out of the gates. He came out hot too. He was scoring. I was like, "This is great." Like these
He
boys,
knows he does.
like, but obviously it was a panic when we're down 3-1. They kind of played really good without Matthews for there for a second. You know, they got to their structure, they got to their game. But Swayman was nasty for us. He stole some games for us, but that game 7 was epic. Like,
Oh, and it was after Pasta had been called out by Monty too.
yeah.
And like, I don't know if the team ever talked about that or Pasta said anything, but he of course buries that winner.
He was just, he doesn't really, that stuff doesn't bother him. He's like, I gotta be better. I gotta be better.
Who made that pass? Was it Lindholm?
Yeah.
Off
That
the
was
end wall.
sick.
Yeah.
That was a
Their
sick.
that one
yeah.
goal you want back though, Biz, eh? The first goal,
Which one?
Lindholm's.
Oh yeah, when he walked over the blue, that was a squeaker, right? Eh? Just
no,
on the short
one,
side.
Yeah, the short side.
Short
it was
side.
a muffin.
Yeah, it was a muffin. I think he just walked inside the blue line. He was like, yeah, it was such a far distance shot. But yeah, that one sucked. That one was tough. I thought that was their year, but this year's their year, so it doesn't matter.
Jesus.
Did they go up 1-0 in Game 7?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Was it
and then they
Matthews?
responded
No.
It
within.
was
They were-
Nylander.
Yeah, and they responded quick.
Yeah, they did.
Like it was within like a couple minutes, right? You guys got it right back, and then
It was a muffin.
what was said in between periods, like just like same thing, cockiness, like we got these guys right where we want them.
No, I've never been in a Boston Toronto series, so like to have that much confidence like going into the series is fucking awesome. Obviously, we were up 3-1 and we kind of blew it. The last 2 games there, but I think going into Game 7, everyone had this mentality like we're.
Well, I
winning
meant
this
more
game.
so like before the overtime.
Oh yeah, we knew like we were like, all right, boys, who wants it? Who's scoring this goal?
Well, were you like, I want it?
No, I was going to get a shift.
I like your honesty.
And
I
then-
did get a shift though.
You did?
Yeah, I got one.
How tight was your arsehole? Were you
It
pucking
wasn't.
up
I
like
almost
that?
tucked.
You almost did?
I almost scored.
Okay.
in OT?
front. Yeah. It was me and Pasta, dude. He put me on Pasta. I almost tucked.
Oh.
He's thinking back to the Blues one. He's like, Maroon will bury one
Yeah.
for us here.
Yeah.
Florida was just, you probably were like, they're winning it all after that series.
Dude, we played actually really good game 1.
Oh, you owned them.
You guys
game
beat?
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys had
And we
one. Great
just-
game 5 too.
Great game 5. But if you look back on it, we were up every game until third period.
Really?
We blew it. Game 6 and game 5.
Game 6, I remember you blowing it. Game 5, you won.
No, sorry, game 4. What was it, game 4 at home? Was
Yes,
game 4 at home?
yes, yes.
We
When they
blew
went
it.
up 3-1.
When they won a 3-1. But we knew, I mean, listen, they're good. They all play hard. They run around, they're in your face. Like they have that mentality. They fucking play the same way No one changes. They don't change their system. They know they're coming in waves. Like they'll dump it in, hard rim, boom, get it back, up to the point. They just play solid hockey. Like there's no holes in their game ever. And it's honestly remind me of Tampa when we were going on those runs. Like there was no holes in our game. Like the first line obviously did their thing, and then second, third, fourth line just dump it in, go to work, dump it in, go to work, and just fucking our offense will take over. And they just stuck with that. I mean, they're fucking hard. They come in waves and they fucking hit like trucks. They defend good.
Every line's good.
Every line's good. And they had that swagger to them. It just reminded me, like I said, Tampa, they had swagger to them. Like they had fucking piss and vinegar, dude. They were coming and like just never stopped. And like obviously the Marshy hit, obviously that kind of fucked everyone up a little bit.
What were you guys saying about that? Because like I think Army was the one who picked it up, where people just thought
Army
it was like
pick that up.
Yeah, it was accidental contact. And Army's like, no, I've seen that. I've actually done that before. And then when you guys see that sucker punch, like, were you hoping for league discipline? Like, are you guys out for vengeance? Like, what was?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see it. I was on the bench, and then Kells was like, "Hey, you know how there's TVs in the fucking on the bench?" So they're like, rewind it, because they wanted to see it. And then Marshy went out there. He came back. He's like, "Fuck, I don't feel right. Like this fucking sucks. Like
I'm conkied."
Yeah, and then we watched and we're like, "What the fuck, dude?" Like, and it was tough because we were in the lead at that time, so I didn't want to go out there and fucking do something stupid, and then they fucking go on the power play and I'm fucking toast.
Right.
And I knew everyone wanted me to do it.
It's a no-win situation for a guy.
You
like
were the guy too that everyone's like, Maroon's got to do something.
The fucking whole building wanted me to do something. Even after the game, everyone was blowing me up. Like, why didn't you do anything? I'm like, listen, we had the lead at that time, and I probably wasn't going to get another shift in the third period against them anyway. So like, we wanted to win the hockey game. We didn't want to lose, so I didn't want to put them, And I talked to Monty after. He's like, dude, it's fine. Like, don't fucking worry about it. Like, we'll sort this thing out. And then Monty did end up putting me out there against him in game 6. I don't even know when that happened, or game 4. But, I tried. But, like, again, like, I didn't want to fucking hurt the team. I didn't want to put the team in jeopardy by any means.
There's no more, like, vulnerable spot there is to be in than that one, where you can't fuck it up and take a penalty. Yeah. And you can't get your vengeance back.
Like, trust me, I felt bad. I texted Marshy. I talked to Marshy on the side. Like, I wanted to fucking help. But he's like, dude, don't fucking worry about it. And it's tough for me because obviously it's my job, but it's my job to do it the right way and not fucking fuck up the team, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's game 48, you can take a 5-minute instigator. But if it's playoffs, it's a fucking series over.
Baseball swing them like Squanto, Whit's kid.
Yeah. I mean, you just drop your gloves at that point and chase around the rink, right? So I think you take a 4-game suspension, right? I know Frederick tried to go after him this year a little bit, and then him and Kachuk got in the middle of it, but
still an all-time video when Biz is interviewing him, or the TNT was interviewing him, and he's
no,
like,
that's hilarious.
I didn't mean to do that.
I was like, you should be a lawyer.
If you watch it and you don't laugh, he's like, no, it was totally by accident. And he's like, I think he believes himself.
Yeah, oh yeah, full-fledged psychopath right there. Full-fledged.
Yeah, he meant to do that.
Bennett the Menace. That's why they call him.
It was the most perfect, like, little sucker punch of all time. He's like, pink.
Yeah, oh yeah.
At the perfect time.
And his hand was broke, so he probably had a little cast on his hand.
Oh yeah, metal pegs on his fingers,
brass knuckles.
Yeah, whoopsie.
Bennett the Menace.
I just wanted to ask you just about the St. Louis thing. Like, you're kind of we're from Boston, where it's, been hockey guys being drafted, forever. But like, you see the growth of St. Louis, what it's become since you've started. Like, you must take some pride in that.
Yeah, for sure. And I think obviously Cam kind of started that. Mike McKenna, Paul Stasny, Chris Butler, Jan Stasny. I mean, there's a list of guys that kind of like paved the way for us to, like, St. Louis was kind of on the map. And then I think the Brady Kachuk draft with like Luke Kunin, Brady Kachuk, Logan Brown,
Kells,
Clayton Keller. I'm missing one more. Trent Frederick was the 30th pick for Boston.
5 first-rounders.
5 first-rounders out of St. Louis, and then Joseph Wall was second or third rounder to Toronto. So we had this like a pavement of kids that just came out of nowhere. And I think it's because all the alumni stay. They all stay in St. Louis. They love St. Louis, and they help with minor hockey. They coach minor hockey, and they help these kids get to the next level. So, I mean, it's been fun to watch, man. Like, all these kids, I feel like I play a new team. There's a St. Louis kid on there now. So, that kind of helped I mean, those guys are now paving the way, like the Kellers of the world, the Fredericks of the world, Luke Kunin. Like, those guys are paving the way. They're doing a great job. Like, Kells is a stud, man. I don't think he gets enough recognition.
Yeah, he's really dug in, like every facet, like all the stuff he does off the ice, from like mental coach to training to diet. It's just like he's all in.
Yeah, no, I love watching him.
And I would imagine he's probably got a pretty big chip on his shoulder after not being named to the Four Nations.
Oh.
Yeah.
You think he should have been named?
I just think that, like, I think that he cares a lot. And
I think USA is kind of iffy.
I think that it's going to light an even bigger fire underneath his ass to make that Olympic team next year. So,
well, Matthews was also talking about hopefully him being on the team, I think, in the interview with Army before the season on the couch.
Yeah.
So obviously, you know, if he's saying that, I think they're best friends, right?
Yeah, they're very close.
So he knows how much he wanted it. What do you mean they're iffy?
I like Canada. They're more sandpaper.
Really?
Really? Even with the goaltending?
The goaltending's iffy, but USA's got the best goalies.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Kachucks will add enough sandpaper.
Yeah,
Then
I
they
guess.
got Bennett the Menace.
They got Bennett the Menace and the Kachuk
the
boys.
neutralizer.
But is Matthews going to play? That's a fucking...
Biz hopes not.
I said, sit out, save yourself the embarrassment.
Did you text him?
No, I don't text him that stuff.
That might make
I think
him
he's
play.
got my
If
number
Biz texts
blocked.
him not to play, he's like, I'm in.
Yeah, I'm too big of a Leafs jock sniffer. I think he's got me on the no-fly list.
You got the blue jacket, though.
Yeah. Actually, I got the ambassador jacket. Well, Patty, we can't thank you enough for coming in and chatting with us, buddy. Like, congrats on obviously a hell of a career, and hopefully you can keep going. I don't know how many more deals you can keep getting out. Your new agent's doing a hell of a job. Holy fuck, dude. Hell of a job.
Some cup contenders bringing you over this
Yeah.
year.
Oh, yeah? You think, maybe something
100%,
I
dude.
have no idea.
100%.
I'm just happy to still be playing, Biz.
I know. I
You know?
can't believe it.
You can't?
Well, I'm saying is I was 32. I couldn't even move out there. Like, I don't know how you do it.
He doesn't
I couldn't
move.
How old are you now?
You don't need to move with hockey sense, dude.
Yeah, well, I didn't have that. I didn't have that at all.
Cooch taught him when he
You know
was,
what
when he
that's
was
like?
his ultimate passer.
That's why he's so good at rimming it. Just rimmed it to Cooch.
Patty Maroon, thank you so much,
Thanks,
buddy.
Patty.
Thank you,
Yeah,
legend.
anytime, boys.
Guys, this show is brought to you by Body Armor Sports Drink. Real hydration, real ingredients, packed with electrolytes, vitamins, and nothing artificial. Right here's the fruit punch. My favorite flavor is strawberry banana, but right after that, it's the fruit punch. I feel great. I feel energized, and I feel like I can crush the day because of Body Armor. Body Armor Sports Drink has great tasting flavors. Like I mentioned, strawberry, banana, and fruit punch are my two favorites, but also orange mango. Orange mango is sneaky delicious. Give it a try. And Body Armor just keeps you hydrated. You have a big night out, boom, you wake up, you crush a Body Armor. They got the regular water, they got the sports super drink. Get yours at a Walmart or local grocery store near you. Body Armor's where it's at. We're so lucky that they sponsor our podcast. We're always fueling up with Body Armor. Go right now to Walmart or a local grocery store near you to grab some of your own. Body Armor. Thank you so much to Pat Maroon. Pretty crazy story. I mean, he for a minute there thought he was done as a pro hockey player, and what he's done since has been amazing to watch. He's such a good guy.
Such a beauty. And also, you know, he's obviously on the back nine. I think that he would be a tremendous guy in the hockey media landscape once he retires. He's already kind of dipped his toe in
maybe
with the
commish.
podcast he's doing. Maybe he could be the commish. Maybe he could be.
All of a sudden, like, every team has beer fridges in the locker room again. Players like, this is unbelievable. Also, a cool message for kids listening. Like, his son was with him. He said his son liked hockey and played, but just in the last 2 years, I think when he was 12 or 13, like, fell in love, and he was picked by the London Knights. I guess he's a really good player. His son Anthony, we got to hang out with him for a minute. So good luck to him. Brad Marchand, guys. He took his glove off and choked out a man.
Yep.
He straight up grabbed Nick Cousins, and what a guy to get. He grabbed him by the throat and was choking him out. I've never seen this. I thought he might get suspended for it.
Like
he didn't even get a minor penalty.
He didn't even get a penalty because the ref's like, oh, it's Cousins. That's okay.
Yeah.
But he was like, fuck this. I don't know what Cousins said to him. Maybe he brought up what Bennett did to him last year when Cousins was a part of the Florida Panthers.
yeah.
And Marshy just snapped. But that was so funny. Like seeing a man just take off his glove and straight out choke out a guy by his larynx.
I think that you need a Nick Cousins on every fucking team. I don't know how close you are with him, considering he played here. Never met him. Oh my God, he can say some really mean shit on the ice to guys. Just when you think it's boring and you can hear a couple crickets in the crowd, this guy's in the middle of a scrum.
Here comes Cousins.
Yeah, ruining a guy's life, putting him in therapy. He's a gamer.
So he'll cut you to the core with stuff.
Oh my God. Buddy, I won't say what it was, but there's been a player who went down after a game to the other locker room to find him. That's how bad he was cutting deep. So he's a gamer. I said it. I know Cousins is mad at me because of when I called him a diver when he did when he got hit in Arizona. But like I said, I'll still pump his tires any day of the week. He's a pest.
The women's Beanpot, guys. The Beanpot is a local college hockey tournament in Boston. They have a women's version, and I had some friends go. So it was BU and Northeastern in the final. And last year, I believe a bunch of guys went with their daughters that I know that play hockey. And it was like, it's general admission. You just go in and it wasn't very, very full. And this year they went back, same thing. There was 14,000 people there. So like I had a friend reach out. He's like, dude, you got to mention this. It's unreal what's going on with women's hockey. I think the pro league, like, that has worked.
Yeah.
Like there are so many young girls playing that now have girls to look up to as pro players, and the college game's great. So like 14,000 at the Garden for the women's Beanpot final. Like awesome. I don't think next year they'll be able to do general admission. All of a sudden that'll probably be sold out next year.
That's awesome.
Based on the jump that it's made. So shout out to all those girls and where women's hockey's at right now. Drew Doughty return looks very imminent. Kings have been the best home team in the NHL as of late, and the Kings are hosting a charity game benefiting the LA Fire Department on February 23rd as announced.
Very cool.
TNT.
So they're not selling tickets. They're allowing all the firefighters and people who have been fighting these all across California, all the families. Like I talked to Luke Robitaille on the phone. He goes, Biz, he's like, all these families that are displaced from their homes and like living wherever, whether it's in these like big, gymnasiums or this place or that place, like they have to they're giving them merchandise so they have clothes on their back and stuff like that. It's just so sad to see. So they're opening up the doors and they're going to put on a fun night of hockey to try to take their minds off of this horrible thing that they're going through. So I'm going to be actually there.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Yes, because February 23rd. That afternoon, the Ontario Reign was going to host the Manchester Monarchs 10-year anniversary Calder Cup team. So a bunch of us are going in. From my understanding is they're bumping back the Ontario game to later that night so we can all attend the game at what do you call it now? Crypto Center. And the night before, actually, the Kings are playing as well. So our whole group's going to get to go to that and then go experience everything the next day. I want to say TNT is in talks with Gary Bettman and the league to potentially televise that game because there's a double header going on the TNT broadcast that afternoon. I was missing it for that 10-year anniversary. So hopefully we're able to just bring awareness to it, televise it. Maybe they get Bieber, Will Ferrell, and a bunch of other celebrities to show up, and they raise a shit ton of money for these people who have been put in this horrible situation.
I could see you guys doing a picture as a team, like everyone put their rings forward, and they're like, "Biz, where's yours?" Like, I sold it.
Yeah, it's
I was down on my luck, and I
had to pay my lawyer for when I beat up 7 guys.
I got $198 for it. All right, guys, we got to catch a train right now to Orlando. Like the Bright Line keeps telling us.
Oh, I pray my back's healed up.
This sucks, dude. Right? But we got to go. We got Bob Does Sports. We got a back-to-back match with them Monday, Tuesday on their YouTube channel. The rematch will be on our YouTube channel. Hopefully, Biz is able to swing the clubs.
Fat Perez, you're going down. Joey Colcutt's, I'm bringing the heat.
Road Warriors. Check it out in Surrey, British Columbia with Motts and Scott Gomez and Biz. It was an awesome video. Great job, Fish.
Unreal.
And Chiclets U in Minnesota.
That's a Pasha vid. That's a Pasha
that's a Pasha vid. Shout out Pasha.
No.
In Chiclets U's in Minnesota this weekend. Checking out the Gophers facilities. Good job with that, G. We love you guys. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll be back to you next week.